Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Bubble Man's World, and welcome to Hash Church, episode 152, if you can believe it. I'm going to get the link sent out here real quick, and we have the show. It's going to be a chill show today. I haven't really organized any big events or people, just going to invite some of the regulars and some of the people that are starting to become regulars in and see if they don't want to come hang out for a little bit. Hope you guys are all doing well in chat. I see a bunch of people. I wanted to start off by wishing Mama. I want to wish Mama a happy birthday, as well as Jay Spontanelli. They both have birthdays today, so we got to say happy birthday. What's up to 70s Mama and to Jay Spontanelli? And I think we should start it with a rip. What say ye? Shall we? Seeing as I'm all alone in the Hash Church here, I say we start it with a rip. I know Etienne will probably be in here in the near future. I've sent out the links to the email as well as to the Facebook. I guess all there is really to do is wait and have a puff celebrating the birthday. I squished a little cookies and cream yesterday from Concentrated X, sent me a little bit of nugget, and usually I just give the nugget away to people who actually smoke nugget, but this time I decided to press me a little bit of rosin. Good morning, Etienne.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Starting it for a little happy birthday celebration for 70s Mama, one of our wonderful moderators in the chat room, who's in there right now, as well as Jay Spontanelli. We're going to have a puff. We're going to have a puff for them. So what's up?
Mine's next week, so salute.
We'll be puffing with you. My son's is also next week. I believe my son's birthday is like a week tomorrow. He's on the 27th.
I'm on the 28th.
Very nice, very nice. Well, are we ready to bake the wake?
You're late.
I'm late. All right.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to all our brothers and sisters in Barcelona that were affected by this unfortunate tragedy. We all have been and traveled. In fact, Bubbleman, you and I re-met again in Barcelona there. Nothing but love and support to everybody there. And I'm sorry that anybody was hurt, much less killed. And we send our loves and all that plus one.
Absolutely. I shouted Barcelona out on my wake and bake the other day. Got a lot of good friends living there, and they got right freaked out by this attack. There was multiple attacks, stabbings and shootings, and people driving over people with cars on the Ramblas. Just terrible, terrible shit. And I don't know. It goes to show that the world is in pain, and maybe the next time you interact with someone that seems like they're in pain, maybe instead of flipping out on them and getting into an argument with them, you could share a little positivity with them. Hey, welcome, Johnny B.
Good morning.
Give him a hug.
Give him a hug.
Right?
That's okay. Everything's got that vibration or that vibe. You can feel that energy. So when you feel that negative energy walk by, give it a hey, buddy, good morning. And bring that energy back up for that person, because that all it needs is that little bit of a hey, and some people that just brightens their day.
Very true. It's very true.
Good morning to all you guys.
Yes, we had recently here in Vancouver, we had, I guess, a right-wing group was going to do some hate speech thing that they were applying for. And so people were like, let's go down to City Hall and protest. And, Vancouver showed up in drones. I suspect there was 4,000 or 5,000 people that showed up for this little protest. And it's just good to see that some people are going to maintain and keep things on track the way they need to be, because it seems like hate is really rooting itself. And I'm not sure that it's actually rooting itself as much as we are seeing it more. We're covering it more than ever. It's what the news is sharing with us. So there's tons of love going on out there as well. I know for a fact because I love my bong, and here it is with me. So Johnny loves his bong. I see him smiling.
I love mine too. But they're going to try and do that next week in Berkeley. Or they have no permit, but already, fortunately, some very intelligent friends of mine are doing what they did in Germany and are sponsoring a Nazi to walk. So for every mile the Nazi walks, they're raising money for anti-hate groups. So they're
That's
raising
awesome.
money over on GoFundMe for Berkeley Loves a Freak Show, an anti-Nazi fundraiser to end hate. So
Yeah.
if you want to, that's over on GoFundMe, and we're just trying to use positivity to, you know, to knock down some of this hate. So, you know, no one's going to confront them. No one's going to get in their faces from our group, that is, because, you know, nothing good was going to come from that.
Hey, they're raising money, though. So why would you confront them? It's like, keep going, man. That guy in Europe, in Germany, was paying 10 euros per mile walked.
And they're encouraging people to bring bananas and other foods and fruits to keep them walking and moving. So they're trying to also keep them healthy on top of that. So
they're missing one thing. Everybody's just got to get a bong.
No, you can't really do that outside in California yet. But as somebody said there, we're just going to kill them with love. You know, meet the hate with nothing but love, because that's what will overcome it always.
And if that doesn't work, hey, D, if that doesn't work.
Hammer him into the ground.
Welcome, buddy. Good to see you.
I am all for love, peace, and equality, and no fucking racism. But if any sons of bitches get in my face or my family's face or friend's face or even a stranger's face that isn't fucking proper, I'll get in their face, and I got no problem doing that. I'd rather not, but let's do a bong rip instead.
Orbital lobe.
Crushing orbital bones since 1970.
Oh, that I was gonna say 87 to be
Yeah,
real.
I'll say maybe 85.
Hey, Sam, how's it going over there in Amsterdam? Good evening, sir.
I'm alive. Everything's fine. It's fairly sunny outside. It's a little bit cool, but it's nice.
And what's in the pipe, Sam? What's in the pipe? Nice. I like how you became a robot for me when you said that. Did anyone else catch that robot voice?
Yeah, it slipped into that.
It was wicked. It was like Tangy.
That's my Barry Manilow robot voice.
Yeah, you know, I went to patent that, and I noticed that you had already patented it. Can't get one up over on that guy. Anyway, puff, puff, puff.
Bong rip, mother lovers.
Bong rip.
Can't deny that one. Going in.
Oh, yeah.
What you puffing on
Nice
there?
chill church.
What you puffing on, Bubble Man? What you puffing on, Johnny B?
I'm puffing on
I
do first bounce dry sift every Sunday, Eddie Kush, with you guys on House Church. I love the sift, and that's why I smoke it only on Sundays.
Pardon me for coughing while you talk, John. Let me mute my mic.
I'm sorry. I thought maybe I was cutting somebody out. But yeah, you know what? What are you guys puffing on first Sunday morning? I mean, for me, I make it kind of traditional. When I get on House Church, I pull up my little container of first bounce, the nicest sift, and I share it with you guys in a way.
I've got my mix of about 5
I like it.
varieties, so I got my mix of my mash.
I wake and baked with cookies and cream.
Nice.
But I squished it on the M1 press. I'm going to do some squishing on the M1 press this morning because A, it's right here, and why wouldn't I, right?
So was that cookies or cream did you start with? Or you started with the combination?
Yeah, it is the cookies and cream.
Okay, I want to ask a question about that new one.
Shoot!
Now, is that new one? Is that for personal production? Is that like a nice Percy unit that we can get, or is it still? It's.
I can't tell you that.
Oh fuck! I thought you were.
That's awesome. It's, you know what? It put it this way. I feel like it's a personal unit. Yet when I look at it, I think, man, you could really produce with this thing. Like if you put someone to work on this thing, the plates just open and close so nice. You get the foot pedal or even the hand pump. It's a really nice.
The boys sent
unit.
me
That being
a free hat and stickers and stuff like that. seen on their Instagram. I was like, commented, nice hat. And next thing you know, I got a thing in the mail with a hat and some stickers. It was fucking awesome, man. I put a picture on my Instagram just to say thank you. But they got their shit going on, man. I love my press. I got the V1 and V2. I'm going to have to get one of those here next. I'd like to have a dozen of them, actually, in a whole line of production. But maybe one day.
You can collect them all. They're like trading cards.
I have almost all of them. It was funny because Matt was up here and he was like, I think you're missing the 2.5. I'm like, yeah, I don't have the 2.5. He's like, you got your V1, you got your V2, you got your M1 all in a row. I'm like, I'm ready to squish some rosin, let me tell you. Which coincidentally enough is what I need to do to fill these cartridges up so I can enjoy them. So
are those on the market yet, those pens, Mark?
They're going to be released in the next week on the market. So they're all pre-orders right now. So people are pre-ordering. You can pre-order. And I think, let's see, uptech.net has them for wholesale and retail, I believe. He's the manufacturer. Bubblemanbrand.com will have them full of the terp sauce. And then I'll sell them at bubblebag.com empty and freshheadies.com as well. So pre-orders so far.
Well, they're going to go good. I'm sure they are. There's how much research and development you guys did on those?
1 year, dude. And more importantly than that, yesterday when I was trying to get my daughter's bike out of my truck and I was standing on the back of the truck with it in my pocket. That's why I now have it on a lanyard. I leaned over and it fell like to the concrete. And it's a glass cartridge, by the way. So I was just like,
oh no.
All right, well, here's the big test. So this was the let's see if I can get this. Doesn't want to give me the, oh, there's the dent right there, right in the top of the can. You can see a little dent.
Yeah.
Anyway, works perfect, didn't break. Man, I remember my trippy sticks breaking when they fell over on the table.
Yeah.
Dude, it drove me insane. I have so many broken ones right there.
Well, John, this one's for you, Johnny B, because I've dropped it 100 fucking times, man.
I'm done.
One time out of the truck. Only one time out of the truck. And that shit was like, I was like, okay, fucking thank you. Thank you, Gary.
They're amateurs breaking stuff. One took in 24 hours.
What's that, Sam?
I said, I'll have it broken 24 hours. Send one to me.
Oh, I'm sending one to you for sure. But actually what I'm doing is I'm sending two to Soma with the terps, get them to make up the terp oil, get them to fill them up, and then bring you yours full.
Yeah, I got to hook up with Tony. He's got one for me.
Well, I'll try not to break it until after it's empty.
Oh, no, dude, break it right away. That way we can figure out what one of the weaknesses is. And like, I'm looking for critiques, not like, oh, it's this and it's that. It's so great. It's just like, we want to find out what we can make better right away. Because it's obviously not the be all end all pen. It's the first generation.
It's version 1, and now you can play with it. Because I'm looking forward to it myself, because I've given up on pens altogether, because it's just like all of you. I went on a trip a couple of years ago, and I started off with 8 pens, and day 1, 7 of them broke.
Oh no!
Day 1, I literally drove to Flagstaff, found the first heady smoke shop I could find, and went and bought a fucking manual rig for the rest of the trip, because I was just done with it. Done. I hate when shit doesn't work, and I love people, and I have friends who have made these, but the pen sucks. So now that Bubbleman, which I love this stuff, as well as Omicron, which was the only pen that worked for me consistently, but it's still kind of messy to deal with. I'm definitely looking forward to giving this an opportunity.
Dude, this one gives a dab, and it gives it right to the end. I just probably took my last rip because it's pretty much empty, and it tasted as good as the first rip. And the battery lasted the whole fucking, what a brilliant thing. He's like, yeah, I designed the battery so it would last the whole cartridge. I'm like, Thank
Here's
you.
another thing about these pens as well is with my travel and the way I've done it. I don't like smoking and driving and everything. It stinks the truck up and everything else. Then you get, exposed if you get pulled over. It smells like weed in here. Then you're getting jacked up and fucked around and printing your license out and proving this, proving that. Now, the pens that I've taken on the trips, they were great. That one Apex I really liked. That was a good one. But the thing is you reload it and you keep reload, and you leave that Apex in the pen overnight, in the cab of the truck overnight, and it smells like you've been smoking a joint in there because of the residue that's left on it that still stinks. So even those ones were shitty. And then the disposable throwaway ones, they're disposable throwaways, and the stuff that's usually in them is really disposable throwaway shit too.
Beaver terps.
Exactly. Beaver terps. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to this one. Really looking forward to it, especially with being able to mix your own. You got the terps you can mix into with your rosin, the whole spectrum of it right there. And then you're not smoking. You don't smell like roaches and everything else.
It sounds like it also it maintains a hell of a long charge too. How long have you gotten it to go there, B-Man?
Well, with the lanyard on there, I want to. That'll be perfect with the lanyard for my fishing out in the water and everything floating. It's perfect.
Over 24 hours, Etienne, it was like 36 or 37 hours, and we were just hitting the shit out of this thing. So that's
impressive.
It's tasty. Here's the thing: the pen itself. I love to give it props and whatnot, but it's a pen that's been made. It's like it's just a pen that looked at all the other pens and made it better. Just like improved all these different things that were bothering us. Temperatures that could be achieved. This pen can hit a low temp dab at 300, or you could literally hit it for 312 seconds and get it up to like a Johnny B 1,000-degree hit.
I like those big hits.
It will give clouds. It will make you cough like you've never coughed. And the thing is that more importantly than the pen itself, it's the terp oil. That's like 6 drops of terpenes into half a gram of rosin to create this viscous oil. This is what you're really hitting for the first time. When Tony first told me, he's like, dude, it tastes way better than your rig. And I was like, well, dude, how could it taste better than the rig? And he's like, bro, the terpenes. It's got more terpenes than anything you're smoking on your rig. So when you hit it in the pen, every hit you take coats your lips in the terp rip. So even 5 minutes later, you could lick your lips and be like, oh yeah, it's unreal. Truly blown away by it. I was a little nervous. I'm happy. Well, don't hit it so hard, Mackie Clo. If you don't want to cough, don't hit the 3 buttons in a row. One 12-second, another 12-second, another 12-second. That's the three press is the JB. That's the Johnny B, like 1,200-degree rip.
Bong rip. The JB rip now? Bong rip. You know what? After this, torches, man, they're just such a headache. I got like 4 here. I finally got one to work.
Nice.
Go with the Blazers. Blazers make the best torches.
I was going to say, yeah, they just work.
Yeah, I've played around with all the little stuff, but it goes back to way back in the 90s. I bought a Blazer torch at Arnold Schwarzenegger's cigar place down in Los Angeles, and I still have that lighter, and it still works. So it's a Japanese company, BLAZER, and they make the finest, most consistent working. Just keep a good fuel in it, and they'll last you.
Totally. That's the whole thing. We all have torch problems. I know we've all thrown them out the door, out the window.
Or if you had them like light up on you or almost explode on you, or the gas shoot out the bottom of it.
Right?
Yeah, I just had that live. You saw the big flame. So
yeah, I saw it, just big flame, etc. That's the problem.
It's dangerous.
That's the problem with the torch tubes. I have a couple of torch tubes and they're great. And one time Todd and I were on our way to the airport and I had the torch tube in the back of this limo on the way and we hit a bump, and the bump caused just enough of a cause in the airflow that it still was shooting out of the gas was shooting out. Now the flame was completely ensconced and around because the vapor spread out and went basically around it. Todd was like, holy shit. I blew it out, turned it off, blew it out, and it finally went out. And it was just
Jesus.
one of those moments where you're like, I was glad I was in artillery and know my safety training and how to handle intense situations, because that could have ended up really bad. So it showed me again that, you know, even though, again, torch tubes are great inside of a, you know, on a safe surface, not in a car bouncing. So what I mean by torch tube, people, is they actually have a gas chamber on an actual pipe. And there's an actual gas release where you can actually fill it and release it, and it's all in one piece. So it's actually a torch tube and a pipe all in one. So that's what I was talking about, not talking about separately an actual torch altogether. But as you saw, it does happen with like Johnny B right there. You just saw, you know, a 3-foot flame that shoots off there, which can be uncomfortable and disconcerting to people around you, as you know.
It's not heating up the nail either. That's the main concern right there.
Well, you know what? Someone gave me a torch when I was last in Toronto. It was, I think it was 710 Kingston, the shop. And I'll definitely shout out the right ones if it wasn't. Steve comes to mind. It was a green blazer. And when my friend Neil gave it to me through this guy, he said, you know, make sure, it was actually John, his business partner, who said, listen, when you fill up the torch, you really have to let it settle for a while and let the butane, you know, it's basically like something about, and I think I mentioned it one time, but I got it wrong, and someone came on my YouTube and explained it really beautifully. I can't remember which episode or what comment it was, but it's basically like not filling the torch and then using little O-ring on the inside of the torch, and I guess it can do what Johnny's is doing, and it can also leak, like consistently leak. So you're just using gas for no good reason. So when you put your gas in those torches, definitely leave them for a bit. Don't be hitting that shit right away.
And make sure when you're traveling, make sure it's screwed off or empty is the best case. I saw a picture the other day of somebody who had a gas leak inside a vehicle, and somebody lit a cigarette, and the car was unrecognizable. So, you know, beware of those. They do leak. And things like blazers actually have a red cap that you can actually put over the opening valve so that can't happen while you travel. So be aware and be safe.
Yeah,
it is explosive
absolutely.
gas, and it will harm you. It will burn you. And those torches are 2,200 degrees. They will scar you.
Yeah, for life. I can attest.
About to say, I think everybody's got a burn somewhere. You know, a couple of little circular half moons here, there, and the other.
Always in the most sensitive part of your body, like inside your arm. It's like, ooh, reaching across the dirty table.
Here's one right here. Yeah, I was just reaching across the table and right on the inside there.
We need to get the dim sun table with the wire, D-nail wire that goes down through the center, and you can just roll that thing around. Here you go. Get it out of my way. I need to reach. Psst, battle scars, puff scars. That's what that is. Puff scars.
My last burn is from an electric nail, so it's not gas related at all. It's just stupid related.
Oh shit!
I've done that too. I'm still human. Last time I checked.
Man, remember hot knives? Those things used to scar the fuck out of people.
Oh, come on. I went to school with the perfect knife mark on my chin at least 5 times.
Or
6.
And you notice how the tips of your knives always stay that tempered color, never change back, no matter how hard you try to polish it.
Jesus. I never burnt my lip, but I had friends that did it. And I had one friend that passed out unconscious on the stove, had like the bullseye on his chest. That was an ER visit, that one. The lip, that's just bad, but passing out on the stove unconscious and burning while your stoned friends talk around the kitchen table with their backs to you, that's
yeah, don't recommend that.
Don't recommend that. That's probably the worst sort of hot knife injury that you can get, really, the unconscious. I mean, maybe it could be worse if you had a glass there and you cut yourself while you fell, so you were
Well,
burnt.
maybe if you were making BHO and breathing nitrous oxide and doing that all at the same time.
There you go. That's stepping it up.
Let me guess, you've patented that already. What do you call it, Sam?
Stupidity.
No, dude, that's the original Jeffrey that they jacked from that movie, Get Him to the Greek on Time. It was that's the OG Jeffrey. They stole that from Sam too. It's fine. It's fine.
Is it just stupidity or the stupidity?
It's hard to say, really. Chill Hash Church today. I knew it was going to be no plans. I knew Natasha was going to be away today, and I thought, you know what? Let's just go with a real chill, tell stories, have fun, laugh, shoot the shit with the boys, and yeah, wish a few people a happy birthday in chat. It's always nice when it's your birthday episode.
Always nice. I was gonna say I was watching your last little rosin squish video there with the new one there, and just on stuffing the bags and folding the corners properly and stuff like that. Little key tips that I even forget about. And I went outside and looked at the corner of my bag and went, damn, that's why.
Knowledge drop.
Knowledge
drop. It was great that Matt was
great.
just like
really good information in there. You guys got to watch that last one. What was it?
And really,
where is my bike? M1.
You know that cut's coming.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a good little squish there. I liked how you just those little, because I used the bags and I was frustrated with it, right? Mind you, I don't have the Sasquatch. I got this the new little handheld thing that I like because I like the 2 gram little presses for myself every day.
A good little squisher, 30%.
It was nice.
Like 10% more than what people are getting generally in their highest ratios. It's fucking insane, dude. So what John was talking about in that little video, if you haven't seen it, was making sure the corners are full. Here, let me just mute you for a second, John, because it'll change the camera when I'm trying to show it. Yeah, the corners are squared. So he makes sure that herb packs into those corners. And sometimes when you're using really nice, dense nugget, you really have to work the bud into those corners. You have to break it up real small and get the corners filled out. It's important because what happens is the oil fills up those little empty spaces. Anywhere there's empty spaces, oil will sit on the screen and hang out. You can press it off and get it out. It's not ideal, you know, especially if you saw that first press. If you didn't see that first press, oh my God, I feel like I should play it for you right now. Like it's worthy of a Hash Church.
Well, you know,
it's a good thing because I looked at that and the first thing I did is I ran outside and grabbed my little corners and I was like, okay, there you go.
Well, right? It's what we're learning. You know, this is about the technology. It's still new. So any information that we can spread or make people aware of, you know, everybody wants their gusher, right? Everybody wants their oil. So nobody wants to lose it inside their squish bag. So any techniques or ways that they can learn is only makes a betterment for all, because, you know, hey, even when I went to Alaska a couple of weeks ago, what was the guy doing? He made me fresh rosin while I was there in Alaska, and I couldn't have been happier, which means, you know, people are listening, people are paying attention, and they want to know, and they want to learn. You know, what is the temperature of your above plate? What is the temperature of the below plate? Those things are key situations for people to know, because they also, you know, as much information as they can get on quality products so that they can run through and get a consistent product.
Oh, it's
all
great.
everybody wants.
I mean, watching the video here that Mark's playing, and you can just see how it starts gushing out the sides. And I was like, how do we go back? It's 8 grams with percentages, and just even talking about the temperatures. But that key thing was squishing that butt out after.
And you notice him using the hand pump, like how like 3 pumps got the plates closed, and suddenly like this right here would have been a great press if it just stopped right here.
What temperatures were you using there on your plates?
He was kicking around 200 degrees, maybe hotter. We'll see when we pull back. Could have been between 2. He had them hotter than I thought, and people were like, oh, you can get rid of those bubbles. I'm like, yeah, no, I understand. Matt was doing all the pressing. He owns the company. He built the press. I'm going to watch him do it. I love the flow on that far right piece there. It's just like, look at that thing oozing down the neck.
That globule.
Dude, and it tasted so good. Here was a unique thing about the Where Is My Bike very, very terpenolini, very, you know, almost narrow leaf drug cultivar-esque. And it just had such a beautiful taste and terpene profile. I put in 6 drops of clementine terpenes with a 0.5 gram of this rosin. And the rosin absolutely, completely, 100% absorbed and changed the terpene profile of the clementine to the Where Is My Bike profile. It was just 100% Where Is My Bike, because we put this particular rosin into the Bubbleman cartridge that we hit on it. That pen lasted us almost 2 days. It was unbelievable, super tasty. One of the things I also wanted to say when Etienne was talking about the importance of the variables and the temperatures, when people ask, hey, what temperature did you hit? You have to understand that that's not necessarily going to be the temperature that works for you, because the moisture content of your bud, the resin content, the density of the bud, all of these little variables change and make these sweet spots on a sliding scale. So what I suggest to people with bubble hash, with everything, whether you want to learn how to properly sieve, or whether you want to learn how to properly make rosin from bud or hash, there's a sweet spot. You can go too far and you can go not far enough. And in the middle, for most of us, is where you're going to find that sweet spot. So for rosin, it's really simple. If you have 100 grams of bud or 10 grams of bud, take like 0.5 gram or 1 gram and press it at a hotter temperature and see what your yield is, because the hotter temperature will get out the majority of the resin. You'll be like, okay, now I know basically what the yield is. Maybe I went a little, I've never tasted my rosin go too hot yet. I haven't heated up rosin where it tastes like burnt popcorn. I have smoked other people's rosin that tasted like that, but I myself at 200 and 210 degrees have not gone over the point where I feel like it's ruined. But it's easy enough to go low. It's easy enough to go high. Meet yourself somewhere in the middle between yield and taste.
Even when you're pressing with,
you're measuring the temperature from a built-in digital temperature gauge, or is that is the temperature gauge on these machines the temperature that it's trying to make it, or is it the temperature?
It depends. It depends on the PID. The Omega PIDs that I have are extremely, extremely accurate, like within 0.1. Most other PIDs are accurate within 3 to 5 degrees.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to say is that also, too, I can remember in the old days when if we pressed a piece of hash and pressed it hard enough, it got hot.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
Just the act of pressing increases temperature is what I'm saying.
Yes, but what I'm saying is the temperature doesn't matter. They're just numbers on a box. What matters is your bioassay and whether you like those numbers high or whether you like those numbers low. What the temperatures really are, to me, really doesn't matter, because it's my bioassay that matters. I know that if I lower the numbers, I can butter out the hash. It usually stays a little more tasty. And when I heat it up a little hotter, you get the full yield, but you might lose some terpene content.
And with lower temperatures, do you need a stronger squish?
It's a longer squish and a stronger squish, sure. Like ideally, you have that 20-ton plate. Some people can press it on less, but yeah, I like strong press. That's why I love Sasquatch.
like even with like pressing like just dry sift or hash or flour. Like I found that when I'm pressing my sift or my hash, I'm doing a lower temperature. Definitely, I'm not pressing as hot as when I'm pressing flour because I'm trying to steam it at that point. So, I mean, that's me personally. So there's all different temperatures, like Mark's saying, depending on what you're trying to achieve.
Your sweet spot. That's it. It's all about finding your sweet spot. And you know what? Everyone's so different, and everyone has different materials. So here's a perfect example. I'll squish out at like 200 degrees, like that Where Is My Bike. Obviously, the terpene profile is off the charts because it absorbed the clementine profile afterwards, and all we could taste was Where Is My Bike. Yet, I have people texting me, telling me, oh, you're burning off half your terpene profile, maybe even more, blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking, these guys are not using bud of this quality with this level of terpene. They're probably using buds that are like 1% or less terpenes. And because for them at 200 degrees, truly, they don't have many terpenes left at the end of a press. But when you're using something that's more like 3 to 4% terpenes, they hold their own all the way through without a shadow of a doubt. So everyone's using different quality and different, there's different levels to this shit. So having conversations on the internet about it is very difficult. It's too bad we didn't have a testing device that hooked up to all our computers and you could just put your little bud in and then it tested it. And then it was like, okay, you're in this room for this conversation with these people that have the same, level of resin, terpenes, profile, whatever you want to call it.
And as you said, humidity and other things are key factors depending on what you're squishing and when you're squishing. So those are all key components. And it's all about, how long did it take you to finally find your sweet spot? So it takes some time as well to play with it. It's not something I know I've seen people get frustrated because they tried it once or twice. Yes. It didn't come out and they give up. And that's persistence is one of the keys, and there's also some varietals will not squish. We found that out as well, or it won't squish very well at all, unfortunately, that's just the reality of the situation.
It's the truth. It's 100% the truth. And yeah,
we
it
all
is
got
what
frustrated.
it is.
We all got sore arms, sore shoulders.
I want to see a vaporizer where the temperature starts low for taste, and then within a few seconds goes up to a high temperature for punch.
That's what my pen does. That's exactly what the pen is designed to do.
It does that right now?
Right this second. It starts out at like 300, goes up to 650,
cool.
goes up to 800, goes up to 1200. You keep holding that button, it's just going to get hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter. It's fucking awesome.
No, I think that's a great idea because first you get the taste, and then on top of the taste, you get all the punch.
We got it from you, bro. It was your idea. You've been talking about it. We put it in the pen.
Well, I do have that patented, and I'll be coming and talking to you really soon.
Oh, fuck you. Shit.
I'm really happy to hear somebody's done that.
I wanted to finish off what Etienne was saying, which was a very, very important part. One of the most important knowledge drops of this hash church, in fact, if you can listen. Don't be afraid to make the mistake to find the sweet spot. That's the value. Everyone's afraid to make the mistake. The mistakes are what you pay for the knowledge. It's not a costly mistake. It's a fucking valuable lesson. You have to, and you're not necessarily ruining anything, but it's okay to find your envelope where you don't go far enough and you go too far, and then pull it back and pull it back. And in trying all of those different resins, you may be surprised which one you like. You really may be surprised. Sure, it's cool for go ahead, Sam.
I guarantee you're right. That mistakes makes you realize that when you know how to do things the right way, you remember them. Because yeah, when you screw things up over and over and over and over, and you finally do it right, you remember how to do it right.
Fucking right. It's the truth. Now, when I show people how to make bubble, they'll have me come in and do consulting and make some water hash. And I'll be like, all right, well, just so you understand, we're going to start off with some mistakes. It's like, what? I paid you here to come here and make no mistakes. I'm like, listen, dude, you will not get your money's worth if I don't make mistakes with you. So I'm going to show you some key mistakes that people make. They won't be too bad. We'll still save the resin. And it'll be very, very important for you to learn with other materials to find your sweet spot rather than assume it's a fucking recipe that stays the same all the time. It changes. That's the nuance. That's the value when you can understand the changes. And if you can't understand the changes, make some fucking mistakes.
And it's okay. It's fine. All of us here did not get where we are by getting it right the first time.
Oh my God. People are like, how'd you get so good at this? I'm like, I made way more fucking mistakes than you. That's how. If you want to be better than me, you got about 150,000 mistakes you better get on making, and you will surpass me, no problem. It's going to happen. There's already young
I've made a lot of mistakes.
People. There's young making mistakes as we speak, in their 20s, and they're like, yeah, I'm inspired. I'm going to make some serious fucking mistakes. So my biggest mistakes were my greatest mistakes. Like, I would not ever change getting busted at the roadblock with 16 pounds and $6 grand cash. that shit was extremely like a huge bummer, but it was a very valuable lesson that led me in a direction that really brought me here today, where we are right here today. Yeah, Smoke Sesh, I might be a bit of a sailor. I might be swearing and cursing. I apologize for anyone that's watching Hash Church with their children.
We do sometimes swear a little bit.
I'm a bit of a...
We get excited. We talk about what we love.
No, we're free.
Bone rip.
Cannabis.
Fuck's sakes.
Hey,
And you know what? You know, I don't. Did we even talk about it being Dee's birthday tomorrow?
D.
Monday.
I'm just saying, you know, he's
What's up with these?
he's going to be turning a little bit older, so I think we should be doing one for all of, like we did one for the first birthday guys for yesterday, for today.
Dude, 29 years old, D. 29
years old tomorrow, Darren. He's just like rocking it there, so he's feeling pretty fantastic. You can see Slayer.
Oh,
He's had an epic concert. I went to Metallica. He went to Slayer. It's kind of like we did pre-birthday parties for ourselves. And
So are you gonna go take a fish to Slayer now? I saw you holding a fish the other day.
I already went to Slayer. Actually, I went and seen Slayer. They came through town here to stay the night, and I stopped. They got a hold of me. I went and seen them at the hotel, and I had all my pontoon boats 3 high in the back of my truck because I was fishing the day before. And in the smoke was just like crazy, and we're floating down this river for like 10 hours. And I've been doing a lot of fishing up here. It's been amazing. But the one guy, the VIP dude that runs that stuff for the band, he wants to. He's really liking those fishing shots. So I'm trying to get him up here to come fishing or hunting, because hunting season's open now and fishing and everything like that. So I want to take him out and show him a good time, because they've treated me pretty fucking good since I've met him. And I had a great time at the concert. Got one of the friends and family VIP passes and went side stage everywhere. I did a bong rip on side stage with Lamb of God playing. That was kind of fucking cool, man.
Oh, dude, that's my band there.
That was something else, man. It was awesome. And thank you. I see in the chat everybody wishing me a happy birthday. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Let's do a bong rip, you mother lovers. Let's go.
I'll smoke to that. A little Congo rosin in my bowl for D420K's fucking half century
Half a century old. Jeez. I'm right behind you.
Here's to half a century for D. Here's to however old 70s mama is. Here's to Jay Spontanelli and anyone else that has birthdays today or tomorrow. Celebrate it.
Birthday, everybody who's got birthdays. You lovely Leos. Fucking roar.
Yeah. There we go.
Hey, are y'all gonna get to watch the eclipse there? Is it coming through your neck of the woods?
Of course it is.
I think it's happening everywhere in the world.
I was gonna say, isn't it just happening on like the western, or how it's?
No, the world's flat, dude. It's a disc. We only live on one side, and it's upright like this. I figured it all out. I figured it all out with math. I'll show you later, Johnny B. You can do a video on it. It'll be.
It's now a flat Earth church. Now with more beaver terps. I like that. My goodness. What a chill.
Well, I was going to say, I picked up that soil balance that came in the mail for me this week, I should say. So, of course, with my few plants that are outside and haven't really been looked after that well, just kind of getting them ready, treated them and see how it goes and take a look at the product, and kind of interested to see, the difference in what they're claiming. So it'll be kind of cool over the next 3 or 4 months to see how well the product, if it does affect the same strain we always have been dealing with.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well.
What strain are you going to be playing with, Johnny?
Medikush. That's the one that works. That's my medicine. I was having problems eating like the other day. My knees are really bad, and just eat some, and it works so well. Last night got some chocolates that were made with some same taint terpene profiles, taint THC levels, and wow, it's just amazing how well it works. So it's a really key thing that affects me. That's what I need, and I know what strains I can use for that wherever I go now. So because of those profiles.
Okay. So speaking as we were earlier of trial and error, being a patient and a patient that you are, I want you to give some fucked up reality here. How long did it take you to find that particular genetic that works for you?
Well, you know what? I mean, I've been using cannabis as medicine for basically my whole life in a way. But I mean, at time of injury in 2005 when I fell, I then came across a strain about a year and a half, 2 years later, and I really realized how it helped me. And over the years, I tried several other strains, different ways how to decarboxylate with edibles, throwing all stuff between those. There's all kinds of different ways. But I mean, in reality, honestly, it's taken this long. It's taken 11, 12 years of me dealing with my pain control, because every day I'm realizing what benefits me more, when how I can use CBD in the morning and use this strain at night. So it's always a learning lesson for me, Chan. That's pretty much saying that now I know the profile that helps so good with my pain. I'm starting to see that, anything over 400 milligrams of CBD really helps me with my knees. And that has to deal with neuropathy, and that has the spinal cord injury. So I see what works for me now and how that's helping with me.
You say you know the profile. Is that the cannabinoid and terpene profile, or just the cannabinoid?
Well, I'm learning with the terpene profile with myself, because I know the Pepper or the Mercy, those type of strains work for me. And also like more of like anywhere from 3 to 5% CBD, from anywhere from say 25 to 29% THC. I see those ratios that work for me quite consistently. Like Mark says, I like to hit things hot. I like to hit things in that direction. I know what works for me, and that's what it's like I said, I'm still learning every day. And that's one thing I'll learn with dealing with my pain. Is something that you have to work on all the time. I went off my amino acids for a while. I'm back on them. I realized how much they play a key role dealing when I'm eating cannabis to help with, just say, passing blood-brain barrier with natural GABA and tyrosine and all the stuff that I take. I'm always testing to see how it works with my pain and how it gives me a better quality of life. So, yeah, the question is you're going to keep learning every day. You know what? It takes the rest of your life to understand it, and then you'll get used to it. I know what works for me. You know what I mean? My stuff doesn't go away like everybody else, and the way we deal with it.
And that's what I want you to point out, is that it takes time. And one of the frustrations that patients come to me and they expect, since we have this wide variety of what immediately is going to work for them. And I have to back them off to that constant reality that some of this may not even work for you at all. And you're going to have to go through a trial and error. Just because it's called marijuana, it doesn't mean there's just one fell swoop of marijuana. And to make them aware of, now they have to figure out what works for them. That's basically what I'm talking about, is finding out for your condition, and then finding something that is beneficial for you takes a deal of time. And unfortunately, people expect, because of Western modern medicine, that the pill I'm going to take is going to have an immediate effect. They expect that same thing with cannabis, and it can be true in some cases, to most cases, but in some cases it's not the case at all.
33 pharmaceutical drugs I took a day. They changed my medication so many times because they didn't know what was working for what was going on with me. It's the same thing. That's what the doctors do to 90% of the patients out there. They give them, oh, let's try this Ativan, let's try an Oxycontin, we'll try morphine, we'll try some. I mean, they try so many because, you know what, it's the same with cannabis. You're going to find something that's going to work. Mark did it with me with the terpenes, when those terpenes went underneath my nose after surgery, and that one terpene, what that did to me, it put another thought in my brain of how much that helps so much. So it's really, like I say, for patients, you get a chance, start smelling all the different profiles, and that one that lights up your brain is the one that you want to look at, and then start taking a look at the THC and CBD levels or CBN levels or the cannabinoid profiles to see now you got that terpene that's working for you. Now start trying to dial in the cannabinoids in a way. So I guess that's what I've been doing over time. Just thinking about it, that's what I've been doing. I've been seeing what works for me and then developing the cannabinoids and the ratios that work for me throughout the day.
But Sam, you took it to a whole other level for the rest of the world when you couldn't find what you wanted, and you created skunk, amongst others.
Well, that's classical plant breeding, and uh, if if I wouldn't have done it, then there would have been some other variety that would have been the first one that was widely distributed. So I just happened to be there at the time.
The happy accident, the lucky miracle mix, skunk.
I think what's really, really important is, well, it depends. For medical and recreational, it's a little bit different, but for recreational, it's lots of THC with the terpenes, excuse me, that you prefer. And of course, that can be bred for, just like cannabinoids can be bred for, either for or against. And it's in the future that we will have varieties that are so much higher in terpene content, because people really like these, and they really do modify the effects and potentialize the THC.
True. And you got to think, if you take a cultivar that's like 5 and make a concentrate with it, that the level of terpenes is going to be off the chart, probably higher than what we are even putting in these pens.
Yeah, well, it used to be that 1-2% was pretty normal, the terpene content. Then people started noticing that there were 3, 4s, and 5% that were winning the Emerald Cup and events like this, because high terpene content is consistently linked with winning of these cannabis cups. People like the high terpene contents, and there are varieties that exist that are as high as 10% that have been created by man. Normal breeding, but man bred, not just found in nature.
I want to say thank you, and as well as reflecting many of the people in chat, just wanted to say thank you, Sam, for your creations over the years. Once again, you still don't think you get enough love for what you've done for the world of cannabis, and now it's becoming more and more normalized for people in certain states, and in time it'll become more and more normalized in other states and in other countries. And you know, you laid a groundwork, be it the happy accident that it was, and that it could have been someone else. It wasn't someone else, it happened to be you. So thank you.
In 75, there was no cannabis seed companies. Hardly anybody knew how to make clones, and very few people were using artificial lights. Few people were using fluorescence, but in 75, there weren't that many people using metal halides, maybe a couple. And all those are the events that changed cannabis and made it unstoppable and completely uncontrollable. And
I didn't realize until I was, doing it. I didn't realize that, cloning cannabis didn't really start until the early 70s as well. So that's a key way of spreading genetics that, I mean, back when I was, definitely it's past the statute of limitations. So back when I was pumping out 5,000 clones a week, I was realizing the amount of genetics that were going out there. And I started to think of who started this originally, because back in the day, it was only seed.
Yeah, you didn't need to clone until you had lights. Then you need to maintain your best plants.
True story.
Yeah, either you maintain them or lose them, and we've lost many, many genetics over the years because they weren't necessarily maintained, or happy accidents happen, such as hermaphrodites or males happen to slip in somewhere and pollen in, and next thing you know, your crop's changed.
That's why it's good to share your cuts. It's good to share your cuts. It's good to share your cuts. If you can, get them out there, at least to a couple of people. Have them get them out to a couple of people. I mean, it's not the worst thing. I know everyone's worried. You want to say something?
You can keep a clone easy for 25 years. I've done it. But they can pick up viruses. So you have to be careful that you don't have insect vectors or other problems which are spreading virus. What that can do is really reduce yield and vigor of your clone.
Right.
Just like
Which is what
humans.
So
happens.
how does one look for that, Sam? How does one
Well,
know when
there
that starts
are-
to happen?
There are tests, and one of the companies up there by Davis in the wine industry was offering to do it for cannabis people. And but I don't have a lot of experience. I know that there is a bunch of viruses which have been found in cannabis, and some of them are fairly free. So they don't cause economic damage, and other ones are quite economic, causing damage of.
Hmm. My phone's just going off here. It's like I think people
And
forget.
some
that I do this
viruses
show.
are spread by seed too. People think if you grow from seed, no, that's true. Some viruses can be spread by seed.
Hmm. Interesting.
Bong rip.
I was gonna say
Do
I
it.
probably create a
Maybe I'll
virus.
try to
Oh,
pull
let's
another
bong
rip
rip.
off this
Live it
thing.
up here. Let's go. We got 2-3 more hours to go here, you guys. Well, I don't know. As long as it takes.
Well, the 2017 High Times Cannabis Cup Canada is just around the corner. There's been some pretty big changes with the changing of the whole cup. And they got Y Gene. Was it? Y Uncle Gene or whatever. I don't even know his name. I'm probably saying it wrong. We got a few good artists. They haven't even released the main app now. So it's really filling up and changing. They've moved the vendors village, and it's
Time
really
out.
coming out to be.
Were you just trying to say Wyclef Jean?
Yes, thank you. Wyclef Jean.
What were you saying?
I was a W. I'm kind of just like, wow, this came out so wrong. And I even said it, Wyclef. Yeah, Wyclef. Jeez.
I was taking a rip out of my
Thank
pen.
you.
I was kind of listening, but not really. And then I was
You
like,
pick up on
"What?
that for me.
W Clef?" I'm like, "What the fuck is he talking?"
Well, you know what? I never said that at a time.
Oh, you're fucking funny, dude.
You know what? It's looking pretty awesome. I met a lot of
Well,
people from
we know
high
Johnny's not a music promoter.
No,
Nice, this
no.
Johnny fucking move.
Well, cannabis, anyways.
Fucking WYCLEF. You gonna go see WYCLEF?
WYC.
that fellow with the clef.
I'm gonna have to listen to some of his music. Apparently he's huge, so that's pretty awesome. And it's looking.
How much
looking up
the
and up.
tickets are, Johnny, to get in the door? Or is there judges' tickets, or are they doing judging? Like, what's going on there? If I was to go down there for the event, and I don't have any.
Pretty much what's going down there. It's opening up on the Thursday from like 4 p.m. till midnight. They're gonna have the side stage, saloon stage, which is kind of a Bowen and Matt Tanner stage that we've worked out. And then on Friday it opens up at noon, of course, and it goes until midnight. Same with Saturday. And on Sunday, it's open from 9 until 9 p.m., from 12 p.m. till 9 p.m. So that will be the Wyclef Jean. He'll be playing on the Sunday for the awards. They haven't announced the Saturday headliner. They got music. You can just go to basically cannabiscup.com and check out Canada, and you can scroll down. You can see what's going on. The whole event schedule's there, how much the tickets will be, and they got all different for tickets. For super VIP weekend, it's like $715. Full event pass is $183. Your event pass includes general admission for Thursday till Sunday is like $333. It all goes down. You can get VIP for just Friday and Saturday. That's $180.
What's entitled with those? Is there any sound? Do you do any judging? Do you take any? Do you smoke anything? You bring your own smoke? What's the with
You
the
can
card?
bring your own smoke. They do have 120 judges bags. Like I said, everything is online. You just go there. They have Sunhill general admissions. They got campsiting. Everything that you're gonna need is there now. So
Right on, Johnny.
yeah, it's really easy. It's like all the other high time cannabis cups they have all over the world and stuff like that. They're really looking forward to doing that.
Well, it's not just like all the other cannabis cups.
Well, that's how they're kind of treating it.
They just decided to make it a High Times Cannabis Cup. What, 3 weeks before the event?
A couple weeks before the event.
So that to me is a minor spider sense. My spider sense tingled a little bit when I was asked about it, because I like listen, I know High Times for me, what they've always done is they've been able to bring an audience where if I'm going to go do business, it's worthwhile for me to do business. I know High Times can bring the group, but that being said, that usually takes them 6+ months of advertising and promotions and magazines and videos and social media postings. And so 3 weeks to take over this BC one just made me nervous. I know you'll be there and you'll check it out and give us an honest review. I know you even enjoyed it last year, although I did hear one guy got punched in the face or something. There was like an alcohol cannabis mixture thing going on that hopefully they figure out this year. I hope for the best, but I won't be there myself.
You'll be there. I got your stickers. You know what? You're there in spirit. And now that High Times is taking over, there's been a lot of big different vendors have come in. They've opened up by extra 150 booths. They got people coming in from all over Europe. There's been certain things have already completely sold out. So it has changed. High Times comes with their whole entourage.
No, for sure. I just like 6 months over 2 weeks.
Oh,
it's a Jamaican style thing where it's like, hey,
you guys want to
run you want to run the ganja, remember, for CRD? Hey, you guys want to run the ganja area for the Rebel Salute concert? We're like, oh yeah, sure. When is it? It's like, in 2 weeks. Oh, we're not going to have time to prepare for that. I like a little bit of time.
They've been preparing this for probably about a month now and stuff like that. But it'll definitely be the first one. It'll be fun. We'll look forward to the year after that and how things will actually progress with them having it on the, well, it's the Grizzly Adams property there. It's where they just had Sunfest, so it can definitely hold enough people. It's the largest stage. It's pretty good spot. You know, full camping. It's going to be a really good time. If anybody wants to come up for the party of the year, I always say if you're in cannabis, if you can make it, make sure you bring a tent because it's camping. There's no hotels. There's there's not like that, but they do have full shower facilities, bathrooms. It's not like it's got some luxury camping involved to it, and plus you got this huge cannabis village. There's some, like I said, the event has changed quite a bit in the last just 48 hours with the amount of people coming in, the new vendors coming in, and
are the Tragically Hip still playing?
I don't know what's going on with that whole thing at all. Zero. There was talks about that in the beginning, but I mean, maybe that was just a laugh.
Pretty cool.
They haven't announced the main event yet. That will be for Saturday. So we're waiting on that. There's some rumors of what's happening and who's coming in, but everything's rumored right now. High Times is holding that tight to the chest, and we'll hear about it sooner than later. And when it does, that's why they moved the Vendors Village, because they anticipate it's going to pack the whole area where the Vendors Village was last year. So they anticipated such a big volume of people coming on the Saturday that they moved the whole village out of the way for the amount of people. So they're really preparing this. There's different security. They've made sure they're putting in for road and stuff like that for access. We're going to get in. So there's been some pretty big changes and some pretty good changes. So we're really looking forward to it for sure.
Very cool. Excellent. Well, there you go. There you have it. The High Times Cannabis Cup here in BC. Pretty much all the details you need right there given to you by Johnny B. And I'm sure there's a website you guys can go check out. He'll let us know how it went afterwards. I'm sure he posts a video on his YouTube channel and tells everyone how great it is. If it's great, I'm sure it will be. My spider sense, though, I'm going to hold back. I'm going to go to the Karma Cup, support Sarah Sunday, who's been doing her cup for 4 years straight. One of the sort of strong Canadian cannabis events, much smaller, no camping in the city, only a couple of days, but still pretty damn fun, good gathering, still kind of rootsy, like what you might say, like what the Cannabis Cup was like, 20 years ago, where it's still a little bit of a smaller event, but very, very good. A lot of people, good speakers, good booths, and just a fun kind of very different vibe, almost the polar opposite of the camping British Columbia experience. This is like a city Toronto experience, but if you
Sarah will be a celebrity judge at the High Times Cup, and definitely Sarah's Cup is, like you said, it's definitely it's more roots. It was quite an experience when I was out there last year. I had a really good time.
Yeah, it was good last year. I'm going back this year again for that very reason, just to rock it out again. Hopefully Hopefully it's as good as last year. Always hoping for the best with these events. I just don't do as many of them anymore. I am much more picky these days. I think I miss like 80% of the events and go to maybe 20% of the events. The Karma Cup is the same. Just Google it, Rare. It's karmacup.com, I believe. The Karma Cup or karmacup.com. Google it. It'll let you know. And what else is going on in the cannabis world here in the upcoming? Because that's like that one you're talking about is in like 6 days, correct, Johnny B?
That I'll be heading over on Tuesday, of course, and the official opening is Thursday at 4 p.m.
Thursday.
As will be the opening of the pre-party. They're saying there'll be no Vendors Village open on Thursday, and then on Friday, of course, then that's the kickoff. Then they have I think it's music, and it definitely, like I said, the headliners have changed. I know what the old headliners were and what was going on. I know there hasn't been a change in those bands, but they've added some other bigger bands to the venue that are now becoming the headliners, which is good.
Well, High Times has pretty good connections to bands, I'm sure, especially now with the new owners and whatnot. They should. I mean, I hope they pull it off. Like, I would love to be able to go next year, but at this point in time, with how many people are doing these events, you really got to pick and choose. As a person, it's easy, but as a business person, when you're like wanting to get a booth, wanting to represent your company, man, can it become expensive going to like 50 of these events in a year? And it's a lot of money for each one.
What are you doing?
Talking to your dog there, D?
Ha! Shit.
He's all giving him kisses.
Like I always say, definitely spreading the word of
totally
cannabis.
Busted.
Okay.
Busted loving your dog.
I love my little doggy. Look at
That's
that.
what
Oh,
should.
what's not to love? Look at that. Look at her.
Look at Dabs. I've never even met Dabs. It's crazy. I feel like I haven't seen you in months, dude.
Oh, you haven't?
We haven't seen. We all live like hours away from each other, and none of us have seen each other in the last 3 or 4
Coming
months.
down next week. I might come.
John, I was in Jamaica with you last month. What are you talking about?
Okay, that means on our home soil though. That's okay. You win that one. But you know,
I was.
it's not
What do you
like
mean?
go to
I
your
was.
house.
Don't you remember at customs when I was running away from you so I could clear?
I was like, where's he going?
I'm going to clear customs. That's where
I'm the guy that's doing the plane check. Just staying on. I got pulled on and then showed some stuff, and of course I got to spend a little bit extra time, and then I went missing the connection flight, and I hung out with
You missed your. Oh, that's right. The fuck. Of course you missed your flight. We went and got you, brought you back, and puffed you down.
in the morning and
Fed
got
you pizza. Saved you
pizza and
half
that.
a pizza. Huh? Or maybe it was even 3/4 of a pizza. It was
That's
a lot
about
of pizza.
3/4. I had a couple of pieces. It was good.
Yes. Well, we were happy that we were able to puff with you. I couldn't believe it. That was like, that took you 2 days or 3 days to get back?
4.
4 days. It was more than how many days it took you to get there last trip in February?
Last time in February it took me 3 days. But when to give justice, I stepped off the plane at 4:20 a.m. on Bob Molly's birthday. So for me,
Still,
Can I interrupt both of you because someone's asking here. Someone says Johnny B likes to talk to customs. B-Man does not. Well, it's not that Johnny B likes to talk to customs and Bubble Man doesn't. It's just that Johnny B. Was it? Didn't Johnny B call that lady a bitch or something like that at customs?
Oh, that was a different time. That could be marked though. That could be marked in the airport for sure.
And, that's
the custom guy told me, he goes, I like to talk to interesting people. So he flagged me because he thought I was interesting to talk to.
Dude, that's so not what happened. You looked like an utter and complete sketchball. Your hair was pointing out in every direction. He asked you what you were doing, and you said you were training doctors. That's why he wanted to talk to you, bro.
Yeah, he said it sounded interesting, so I showed him the whole thing on camera.
Oh my God. Not to mention here's another poor thing that happened that was not Johnny B's fault. Didn't they lose your luggage or something? Or no, you came only for 2 days and you were going to fly back. You only had clothes for 2 days. He ended up staying for like 3 extra days with only this set of clothes. So the shirt that he passed through customs with, he had worn for like 3 days straight. So that was also not his fault. He didn't have I shit you not, I save an outfit.
That whole
I
thing
s-
of what happened in Jamaica just happened. So we spent the next day going over, having that great time, more education. It was, you know
Oh,
what?
where did we go to? Jack Cure's place?
Yeah, that was fun.
Oh yeah. We went and dabbed out Jack Cure to the point where we put him into a dab coma. He was
Dab coma.
DTFO'd
He
on
was
his
out.
lawn chair. And then the next time I looked over, he was actually gone. But that was okay because I got to hang out with my buddy Archie, who's a really great grower in Jamaica. Passed on some really nice seeds to him while I was there. So hopefully next time we go back, Johnny B, Archie will have. Well, you smoked some of Archie's Kush, didn't you?
It's very nice. It's good to see what they're growing there and what they're doing in Jamaica now. And you know what? It's definitely been pretty. It's educational. See how that's changed up there in the last 4 years since we've been going there and stuff like that.
Yeah, well,
You
you're
know?
a Kush snob for sure. You
I
liked
love
it, eh?
Kush. It was. I wanted more, and I was like, "I want that. I can't give me that." I'm not a Kush snob. It's what works for me. Like I say, that's why it's taken years to know exactly what strains and what Kushes work for me, because it's like I could smell. It's like that's what works. Can I have that, please?
Yeah, for sure. Well, we got right lit sitting there and talking to Archie, and Sean was also there, a friend of ours from Jamaica, which was it's always nice to see familiar faces.
You know
That is
what?
for sure.
When we were talking about what we're doing there and educating on the prawn line and the hemp line and stuff like that, I'm starting to see some of these new products that are coming to light. They got eye drops with cannabinoids in it, nasal sprays, all kinds of deodorant stick. I'm seeing it's amazing the amount of these roll-ons and all of these different products that are coming out with CBD now. And it's not one, but it's loads of different products like this that are happening.
Oh, yeah. Well, just wait when they release the rest of the cannabinoids. You know, even though they haven't really released CBD, it's just what everyone thinks they have, and it's this weird kind of like social distorted perspective on cannabinoids that everyone's like, oh, it's the CBDs. Like you're allowed to have the CBDs. Like I get mine from Switzerland, and yeah, it's the CBDs. It's like, man, when they finally release this, when federal banking is allowed, and like federal release of this like ridiculous peace treaty that all these countries, the Drug and Narcotics Peace Treaty Act, whatever it's called, get rid of it. Like let countries do what they want. Let people innovate how they want. Let the cream rise to the top. It's going to be ridiculous how much shit we see in our lifetime in regards to, new, unique, amazing cannabinoid and terpene products.
Seeing it now already.
Big time.
They're just hitting. It's like it's amazing. Even just seeing it now, just the amount of products that are coming up. It's like I said, deodorants, think eye drops, nasal sprays. You're gonna like what's picks are coming out probably. And there's so much stuff coming out there with anything to infuse it to get cannabinoids into your system, so you don't have to smoke it or taste it.
Yeah. Well, it's cool too the way it happened because, Prohibition wanted to keep us in the dark ages forever. But before Prohibition fell, we took ourselves out of the dark ages, from just like rolling spliffs to learning about concentrates and isolating and separating terpenes and cannabinoids and just learning so much about the plant and opening, the deeper in you go, the bigger it gets. Like Terrence says, how come the bigger in you go or the deeper in you go, the bigger it gets? Just seems to work like that with cannabis. It's endless. You could do lifetimes on this plant. No problem.
No matter how many questions you answer, all it does is raise more questions.
It's true.
Someone's asking me, scratching the surface.
Someone's asking me what my take on tolerance breaks are, useful or pointless. Well, tolerance breaks are good if you have resin that has a ceiling. If you've somehow acquired some like low quality resin that just has a ceiling that every time you hit it, it doesn't elevate you, then a tolerance break might be amazing. However, better than a tolerance break, in my opinion, is growing better resin, creating better plants, making better isolates so that when you want those effects, regardless of how many times I'll tell you for sure, like the first time I met Sam, well, not the first time I met him, but the first time I smoked his hash on a grand scale, like I got to hit it many, many times. I couldn't believe that every time I hit it, it got me much, much, much higher. Like it was incredible. Like how high can you get? It almost felt like the difference between just like eating a tab of acid and eating like 25 tabs of acid, where you're like literally become pure light and you're just sitting there. That's how I remember it anyway. And don't get me wrong, I was smoking some pretty good resin prior to that. Full melt, drips through the screen. Like it just wasn't, it wasn't the strong genetics that he had. It was probably some weird hermaphroditic version, because Renee, in my opinion, is a skunk #1, mutant or cross hybrid something. They said it was a Himalayan sativa crossed with a skunk #1, but that sounded like more rumor than anything. I never really put much stock into it. That was a very nice smile, Etienne. You looked almost smitten. Johnny B's packing it up. Packing up the old doubler.
This is an old double bubbler. Actually, my girl, Lethal Blast, Elena, she made this, and she gave this to me about a year ago right now when I first met her. Well, I met her before, but this is when it's kind of like our anniversary is coming up, and I remember waking up in the morning and finding this pipe sitting in my little area here, and it was the first gift she gave me. So yeah,
nice. Beautiful.
Cool. And it's always been sitting here ever since. I've never really taken it out of here. I always just come in here, like have my little traditions, and this as well.
That's awesome. Very good. Well, pretty chill. Might be a real short hash church today. Make it like an hour and 15 minutes. That'd be kind of tight.
I thought we were going to be doing some squishing live and talking about that stuff.
Well, I kind of was feeling it, but at the same time, I'd rather have Soil Grown and the Sasquatch crew in here and really build.
Well, you have that video, so.
Have like a stacked rosin panel for.
Oh, come on. Show us the new press.
I don't even have it turned on. I got to get up and go around the corner.
Oh.
I could, I guess.
Oh.
It's fun, though. Why don't you come to Vancouver and play with it?
I will. I'll be there this week. I'm coming down the 23rd. My girlfriend's meeting me down there, and we're having a hangout.
Nice. Beautiful. Well, that's good. That's a good thing. It's always good to hang out with the girlfriend.
Well, then bong
what
rip.
kind of fish?
Oh, yeah.
What kind of fish were you fishing for?
I was fishing for rainbows and dollies. Caught lots of dollies.
Okay.
Rainbows and butterflies.
The dollies up here are pretty protected in all the rivers. You don't keep any of them.
What are you using for bait?
Not telling.
Oh, a special
garlic.
You don't put a bong rip on the end and
You come up, I'll take it. I'll show you, buddy.
Come on, Darren, tell us your secrets. Maybe one thing about fishing when you're on the river.
Tell everyone your secrets. Tell the
he
world.
pours maple syrup on his hooks. That's what he does.
I don't mind sharing the
Beaver
tack.
terps. It's the ultimate biology.
That's right.
Beaver terps, of course.
Any lure dipped in beaver terps works.
Beaver terps work. It's true.
One thing about fishing, I haven't been for a few years. Used to fish a lot, but you sit on the river at like about 4 or 5 a.m. and as that sun up, you see just everybody. You just see big fatties being burned. You see the big cherries. You know who's on the river? Oh, someone's over there. Because 90% of the guys on the river, they got their blazons. They're up there early. They're disabled. Or they're injured. Or there's reasons why they're on the river. They're just like early morning risers. Love to fish, but I mean it's definitely if you're out there.
It's
just
beautiful
kinda look at the river.
where you're at. I've been fishing out there on the Vedder and everything, but I've also fished on rivers where you're, 6 feet apart from people taking turns casting. You got 12, 14-foot rods going everywhere. You get a fish on, people are reeling in. The places that I'm going to up here, you take about 3 hours to 4 hours just to drive into on dirt roads. You got to use a little four-wheeling. And the place you're going to, you're lucky to see anybody. And that's the perfect part, because you're coming around a river bend and you're seeing wildlife. It's beautiful country that you feel hasn't even been touched, but other people have been there. Had to find out somehow as well to go to these good spots, right?
Need an Argo, Darren. Then you can go where no one's been before.
Well, I've got my Rhino. I go to spots, but the farther you go, the better the fishing. You're fishing and catching all day, and that's fun.
It's good to see you on the
Fishing
river.
and catching. I think the pinks are flowing up in here right now. They're heading up, so it's
Coho
12
are going
million
to
of
be
them
in
in-
Terrace. They're coming up. I don't know if they're going to be open or not, but I want to go for that run in September long weekend maybe. But
I'm gonna go jump in my boat later today, not to go fishing, but to drive around, cruise around, maybe check the water. I saw herring jumping last night, but supposed to be 12 million pinks coming in, if not already. So we'll see what happens here.
that
Don't
would
suck me
look
around though.
cool. That would look pretty cool.
Yeah,
I've done
My-
some
my
good
son-
fishing on the rivers and got some monster salmon on there, 50
My-
plus pounders.
Jesus, those are
50
monsters.
pounder, first one I caught on the Kitimat River.
Wow.
Check out my Instagram too. It's not no bullshit. Proof is in the pictures.
Poof is in the pictures, except now with Photoshop.
Yeah, I would have been Photoshop.
What's that?
Check it out.
Photoshop.
Oh yeah, everybody's got something to say when it comes to the fish stories, but videos, pictures.
I
guess
got a fish.
Photoshop 'em if you had that, took the time to do that. I guess I don't know. I'd rather take the time to go fishing.
I like eating them, but yeah, fishing. I don't want to spend lots and lots of time doing it. Although, for example, he'd give one of his left nuts for it. I guess his left nut because he doesn't have two of them.
Yeah, right. You only have one left. Although I guess you could put the right one in the left position if you were good.
What?
I don't know. I'm just sitting here. It's social commentary, man. It's social commentary.
I thought we were talking about fishing. I don't like fishing all day and not catching. As long as I'm catching fish, I can fish right till dark. No problem. Got to drag me off that river. But
I just
I'm not a
like
big fisherman myself.
I like eating fish much better than catching them.
I'm with
I like
you, Sam.
catching them and then eating them on the river.
Bring one of your plant down to the river with you, Darren. Bring one of your plants with you, and
What's that?
bring one of your plants fishing. Maybe you'll get, the fish will be happy.
It won't grow up here. Well, it'll grow, but it'll die before it finishes because it's too cold. The weather's already changing up here.
Oh, it's changing down here too.
Yeah.
Can feel it. I was up in Whistler a couple days ago and I could really feel it there. Winter is definitely just around the corner.
I do catch and release almost everything that I do catch, unless I'm going to eat it. I like keeping the rainbows because we're allowed to, because I like to smoke those. But we catch and release most everything. I got lots of grandkids. Got to take them fishing to catch fish too. If I fish them all, there won't be none.
Right.
And I can fish them all. No, just kidding.
Well, you are a newfie.
I am so. It's in my blood, bye. It's in my
From the
blood.
rock. I'll do it. Fly fish, rod fish, fish.
Yeah, fly fish and casting. I like all kinds. The coffee grinders, the level winders, the fly. I love fly fishing too. There's something about fly fishing that really, if you go to the river, you look around, you see the bugs that are on the rocks, you see the bugs that are flying around, you match those ones, you put it on, you let it float, then you see it come and whoosh, take it. It's fucking amazing when that happens. And you landed it real nicey too. Like it's pretty neat when you trick them that good. Sometimes they don't bite on lures or castings at all, right?
How about David? David says, why is that even fun to catch a fish and put holes in their face and then toss them back?
Use a barbless hook so it just comes out. It's like a piercing. Humans do
No,
it.
it's just his perspective, right? Because he's not a fisherman. You know what, David? You have to do it. I did it one time. I caught a salmon out in the Howe Sound here, and it was exciting. I just, put the salmon back or whatever, but it was exciting.
I love catching fish. Love it.
My
Last
kids
time
would like it.
I was fishing was in the Himalayan mountains, and I was catching brown trout up in Kashmir.
That's what basically dollies are. Brown trout. They got the spots, and they're the tough ones. They're the sharks in the water, the fresh water.
Very nice.
Well, Darren, I got a book here with all the fishing spots marked all the way up the Fraser from years and years, and some great spots. I definitely love bottom bouncing, love
And
fishing.
that's what a true fucking fisherman does. He has a journal that.
Damn right I do. Damn right I do. I can show you all the spots, the ones that I've hit, what I've caught from there. You see all my fishing gear downstairs, my waders, all my stuff. You know, I got tons of gear. So
I used to do lots of acid going fishing. I got some parts in my journal. Got fish, did 5 hits of this type of acid, and and then the fish we caught and everything like that.
So you think you were catching fish? It was purely you were just like purely hallucinating.
Man, the fish we were catching, man, it was like something else.
Probably catching like a Loch Ness monster at that point, weren't you?
The rainbows that we were catching, just nice little 4-pounders, 3-pounders and the morning sun coming off it, and the rainbow coming off of the fish. You're like, I can't keep you and eat you, man. Fucking take them off and let them go, because it just looks so fucking good,
Tony's got a fish story. He just jumped in. Tony, what's your fish story?
Hey, Tony.
Fish story. What's up, guys? Fish story.
We're chilling.
I have a fish story. I was much younger. I went fishing outside of Florida, a little deep sea, on a 3 or 4 day where you have to sleep on a boat. And it sounded like a really fun time. And I think I was like 16 or 15. And I said, yeah, let's go out with my brothers. We're gonna go out on a deep sea fishing. And basically, I had different picture in my mind about what that adventure would be. But really, what ended up happening was it was a fishing boat that had like probably 15 people. And the whole time it was like a 24-hour fishing day and night. And like you pay to go to this fishing trip, but yet we were catching like, we were trying to catch schools of yellowtails or groupers or snapper. We were trying to find all these things. But we weren't really fishing to keep the fish. And next thing I know, I was like, about day 2, I was like, man, I'm really tired. I was like, where do people sleep? And they're like, oh, you go downstairs. I'm like, downstairs. Okay. So I go downstairs, which is like cots, right? That are stacked. There's like a cot and then a cot and then a cot. And literally I remember trying to get sleep, and I was laying in one of these cots, and there was like another human being like right above me in their cot. And so I was like, if they pass gas or they make a sound or they do anything, it's within a couple inches of your body, like where you're sleeping there. So I was like trying to sleep there for a while, and I couldn't sleep. There was like 3 people snoring. It was like human body right on top of you. And I went out to the deck. I tried to sleep on the deck when there was a big moon. And I got this great idea that I'm just going to take one of the pieces of like this barracuda that we caught with a giant hook with a giant metal leader and just like go deep sea and try to catch a shark. So I spent like, I don't know, like 30 minutes rigging this thing up, giant piece of bait, like just huge, like off of a 3-footer, and just like wrapped around this hook and dropped it and waited. And I must have waited like, God, I don't know, like an hour and a half, to where you get like delusional, where you think the like rod is actually moving when it's not. You're just like, oh, I think I might got a hit. I might have a hit. And I think one of my brothers like, you don't have a hit. Come on, man. It's like 3 a.m. I was like, no, it's like moving, kind of weird. He's like, oh, you probably hit bottom or something. I was like, there's no way we hit bottom out here. He's like, oh, I don't know. It's like, it's weird. So the pole just started to move, like, just like moving like this. And about an hour and 45 minutes online, I'm sitting there struggling with it. My arms are fucking dead. I've passed this pole to 2 brothers, the captain, different people, like, bring it up, let's see what it is. And I pull it all the way up, and I was like, oh, it was like a giant, huge, like 11-foot nurse shark. And like, as soon as the captain saw it, took the knife out and cut the thing, and he's like, it's like, we're done here. Boom. Just cut the fish. And I was like, And I remember I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "It's a nurse shark. We're not out here for nurse shark." And he just cut it and let it go. It was like one of my fishing stories. But it was a huge nurse shark.
It's pretty ridiculous that you caught a shark.
A nurse shark. A nurse shark. Bottom feed.
Excellent story, too, I must say. Good fish story to be jumping in right on church and pull that out. Good job.
I got other
I
fish.
had to ask.
Seriously, we went from a 50-pound salmon to an 11-foot shark in like 3 seconds.
But you know, like the letdown, it was a 3-hour ordeal. So like when from the concept to getting a fish, but like when that guy took out that knife and without even hesitation, just cut it. He just cut the line. He's like, "You're done here." He's like, "What are you doing trying to catch a nurse shark?" Like it was like he was like, "We're done." You know, it was like the excitement was gone, man, like in a second. I didn't understand it as a kid. I'm like, "What do you mean we could eat it?" He's like, No. We're not bringing that into the boat.
Jesus.
But yeah, at the end, it was like, I kind of like realized what was going on. It was a commercial fishing boat. So I said, "What about all these fish that we caught?" He's like, "Yeah, you paid, you know, if you caught a certain amount of fish, you paid your way." So he's going to refund the $400 or $500. And I was like, "Man, we've been catching fish for 3 days here. We got thousands of pounds of commercial grade fish for restaurants. This guy was going to make a killing." So then it was like, I remember kind of negotiating with him with my brother, and he was just like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, I'm just saying that like we've caught, you know, I've personally caught 50 different types of fish at this size." And I was like trying to get fish out of the deal. He's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Dude, I just want a red snapper, a grouper. I mean, I just want something that we caught so we can eat it." He's like, "Well, I'm not going to give you your money for the trip." I'm like, "I didn't sign up to be labor. I signed up to go fishing, man. Like, I'm not your like commercial labor, you know."
That you pay for it too. That's a slick,
super slick move. I mean, he had 15 people paying like $600-700, maybe even $1,000. You know, everybody pays their way. You sleep in cots, you fish for this guy for 3 days. I mean, making it, killing.
then he sells it for like 12 grand.
Yeah, exactly. No more. Those fish were worth it. I mean, I'm telling you, there was like live coolers and like, it was a pretty big commercial boat, and all we did was fish. 24 hours, day and night.
What a
God.
scam that is over there. Hey, holy shit.
This was in the like late 90s, though. You know, things were tough.
Paid
You
labor,
only win once by the sounds of it.
labor that pays you.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Well, I got some nice sleep today, though.
Yeah?
Yeah, I needed it. I slept yesterday and today.
I have a toddler, so I just don't sleep at all.
That's horrible.
You get over it after like year 2.
Year 2. After year 2, you just get used to not sleeping.
Yeah.
Well, you just
Fall
get
asleep in
used
your
to
chair, you're
operating.
woken up, Dad.
You get used to operating in this like extreme sleep deprivation state
Mm.
where you just make it happen, make it work.
I need to run into Etienne next week. He was at a game. I've got a little present for him.
Yes, let's look up.
Ooh,
I think I've presents.
I can always pop over too.
Yep.
that's the way to do it right there.
Golly. The strawberry banana goof full melt. It's really interesting. I'm waiting for these terpene reports to see the difference between full melt, a hash rosin, and a flour rosin, and the flour. This should be interesting because they all uniquely smell different. But I do think I like the smell of the full melt better.
So does it smell more strawberry or more banana?
This full melt smells more strawberry. But I would say the hash rosin, I have that somewhere. Let's see. The hash
Does the
rosin.
banana come out in the flavor then, and when you hit it?
The hash rosin has a good balance of the two. Did I smoke through all that hash rosin? I think I did. That tells you what's better.
That's exactly what tells you. What That's the ultimate like test
Like,
right there.
wow.
Like what got smoked first? Like I don't give a fuck I don't want numbers and what you think of the effects and the
Yeah, it's
taste
gone.
and the blah blah blah. Put it on a table, put a
Yep.
bunch of heads in the room and tell me which one's gone first. That is for sure the best.
Yeah, it's
Promise.
gone. The hash-
Promise.
How's the hash rosin gone? That's crazy.
How's the hash rosin gone? No, Tony, you're a fiend.
Wow, it's gone. Well, it was sitting on the
Wow.
it was sitting on the table the longest though.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're
Brand.
right because the it's hard to tell. It's like, and also the hash is like the full melt's a little more subtle. You know, I just let this thing melt, and but it is more strawberry for sure. We'll find out though, because it looks like Monday I'll have all of the terpene tests back. It's weird. The terpene test is the last thing. Usually it's the pesticides.
Right. Well, it's always good to get the pesticide-free one in.
Yeah.
Be like, right on.
Well, you
Continue
know,
down that road.
that's like your when we were talking about resin profiles nowadays, especially in California, and I think it'll be a trend everywhere. Especially when you're smoking something, is to the parts per billion in pesticides for concentrates and flowers goes back to the farmer. So, you know, a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, I don't use pesticides," and then they fail it. You know, based on where they're getting their clones from and things like that. So,
Right. Or that they're liars. I
Or
think
they're
there's
liars.
probably a little bit of both.
yeah, you know, I think that like some of these people they're not lying though. They're just like growing outdoors. They're trying to do the best
Absolutely.
they can, and they get like maybe a tainted clone. They don't know it. The flowers don't test positive, or there's a nearby field, or they're like, you know, other farms that aren't cannabis are spraying. Really devastates. You know, if you're not lying and you're trying to do the right thing, and you get that, it just devastates people and their hard work. You know. I think you had an episode with Brian from Vital on talking about clone certification.
We did, yep.
Yeah, that's going to be that's like the next move for sure.
I invited him in today, but he I'm not sure. It was last minute. I didn't give anyone I didn't plan a show today. I was just like, just do a show. It's 152 episodes. We're 4 episodes away from 3 years.
Are you kidding me? Wow.
No. 3 years. It's pretty ridiculous, actually.
That is ridiculous.
Dabs up. I see you have the fat end of the scoop.
Yeah.
Bong rip, mother lovers. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the
Alright.
last. This is a bong rip, mother lovers.
Ooh, the pen. I like the pen while hitting the dab rig as well. I find that it gives me a super spacey, trippy high.
Okay, so now that you've had it for like a week, you've made your own stuff. You kind of
Yeah.
see what I'm talking about. Well, you don't take you don't really take in like distillate with terpene hits before, but I feel there's a completely different experience. But you've had it for a week. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, my unique anomaly that I experienced right off the bat was my first cartridge. I used that Where's My Bike squish. Did you see that 30% squish we did? Fucking video is ridiculous.
It's 130 grams per pound for those that are listening.
136.
136 grams, yeah. Woo! That's ridiculous.
The cut's on the way. Anyway, got to give that away to some people. That's important. It's what it did was, okay, I put like 5.7 drops of clementine into a half gram of this rosin. Then it was like it didn't quite get
Wait. A half gram or a gram?
A gram. Yeah, a gram.
Yeah. Okay, it's 5.7.
Yeah,
5 to 6
it was a gram
drops per gram.
It was a gram. So, okay, good. A gram, which made 2 cartridges. Now check this out. We couldn't taste the clementine. And we couldn't taste. I also put a drop of sour tangy in there just for good measure because it was also citrusy and beautiful. And I had it there and I was just like, I'm just going to throw a drop of this in too. Made it real nice. And the oil was just perfect. But all it tasted like was Where Is My Bike. It was 100% the Where Is My Bike terpene profile. It's like it took, but it was so loud. It was like so loud, like 10 times louder than it was. So basically, instead of getting like clementined, it assimilated the clementine, turned it into its own terp profile, and that pen hit right to the last drop, dude. Perfection. So fucking good. Oh no.
Sorry about that. My computer almost died. But yeah, that's why I say the last video I'm gonna make. For those that are, I know that they're selling them already empty, but there's videos on Bubble Man brand YouTube, not your Bubble Man's World, but there's a how to turn it on, how to get different controlled tabs out of it, how to fill it, how to clean it.
I can show them right now.
Yeah.
Why not? I'll do it. I'll show a couple of the videos while you're talking.
One thing I would say that I get a lot of people that they don't get it, and you can tell it's a different tank, is like that is the top part of any of, like, if you put a live rosin or any sauces in there. And then what it does, it's so powerful that it warms it up and turns it into oil. And then that goes through 4 holes. So it's different. You know, people got to get used to it.
Yeah, I'm showing the video of you filling it. When I first looked at these, I thought, holy shit, these are going to be really hard to fill. But when I filled the first 2, I actually spilt 1 single drop that fell off the tip of my syringe, and I ended up scooping it up. And
the one thing with it is, like, if you see how I go in a little round.
I did the same thing. You got to do that circular thing and go, because it doesn't.
Wow. It's like I hit the pen and it hit my rig, and I think my pen tastes better.
Well, Sam was talking about today. He was like, is there a pen that starts out, or a dabber that starts out low and then gets warmer and gets warmer? And
right here.
like, dude, that's exactly what we did, bro.
Yeah.
Talking about it for the last, he's definitely been talking about it for the last 2+ years, maybe 3.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing I figured out, because, you know, it's a new thing, and talking with Gary, I'm like, all right, what are these temperature settings? And like, if you hit it for like 3 to 4 seconds, you're definitely going to get like that 550 low temp dab.
Yep.
But if you hold it the full 12, you're more like 650. And then if you hold it again for another 12, it's like over 750. But the way I've been doing it is I'll kind of hit it like for 3 seconds, I'll let off of it. Then I'll hit it again for 3 seconds or 5 seconds, I'll let off of it. So I'm kind of like controlling like the dab by the seconds. But honestly, a 12-second rip is really good. Good cloud too.
Yeah, it clouds out. It gives me a dab. I actually got an anxiety attack from a wake and bake with this pen the other day. I was like, damn, that's impressive. Brought me right to the brink. I was like, holy shit. Yeah, that's a cloud for sure.
What were you hitting, Bubble Man?
That was the Where Is My Bike. It was the Where Is My Bike. Right now I have, this is Lemon Tree with Headbanger Kush. And it's all Lemon Tree. There's no Headbanger Kush profile whatsoever.
And Where Is My Bike? Was that named by Hoffman when he took his first trip?
I think it was named by Karma Genetics when he lost his bike after smoking it in Amsterdam. I could be wrong. It might be that he gave that cutout to people. No, he lives in Amsterdam. It's the story I assumed. I'll ask him. Maybe we'll have Karma on Hash Church in the near future. Maybe I'll invite him right fucking now.
Oh, one thing I was going to say. Also, and it's so hard. I kept telling you, pull, press, pull. You constantly want to pull air through it. And I'm only saying this because I know Gary started selling these things, and I was trying to explain the oil content. You don't necessarily have to do do it with terpenes. The terpenes, and then there's other questions online. The terpenes aren't diluted with anything. There's nothing to dilute them with. They are the dilution for the rosin.
Right.
That was a weird one. But the one thing I was going to say is you could do, like if you look at how to clean the tanks, and it's
Right
not
now, he's watching. He's in the chat room. Uptech. He just said, "What's up?"
yeah. So so the main thing like that I noticed with this keeping this thing clean, like you could always clean it with a Q-tip if there's ever a little oil, but this has a hole that goes all the way through the tank, which is you could see it right there. It's different than other ones. So if you just, and I see a lot of people do this, and I've been trying to get them not to. If you hit this button and you just hold this button before you hit it, you're hitting it wrong. Everyone's like, oh, let me just crush this button. This is a very powerful battery. You have to pull, press, pull. And then I was going to say you could, if you didn't have terpenes at home, you could take your rosin, like flower rosin. You could take things, and it's not something that I would do, but I've done it just to try to see if I could do it. Which was you could gently take your rosin in a bowl and gently double boil it, put it in a water bath, and that will slowly go from a THCA, and you're going to slowly decarb it when you're doing it this way, or really low temps. I'm talking in a bowl that's like, a glass, one of these things, just like we show on how to clean the video, and we put it inside another one. You could put that inside a little pot of water and get it down to in the 110 degree, 105, 120 degree. You'd have to play with it based on your elevation and where you're living, but you could gently warm your flower rosin. And if you warm it up, it'll melt down a little bit. You could whip it. It'll turn into a much more the viscosity is going to change. And while it's warm, you could suck it up with a glass syringe. So you don't necessarily need terpenes, in my opinion, to necessarily get it to work in here. I've actually put that in here. It's more of a terpene content. If something is like 7%, 5%, 10% terpene content, it'll work. You follow what I'm saying, Bubble Man? It doesn't necessarily have to have terpenes. This thing is powerful. This will, if you could get your oil in here, it will work. It works for distillate too. Distillate actually, a distillate with terpenes actually tastes really good, or a live rosin or live resin, like a live resin with a little bit of terpenes. I've tried it with a lot of different things.
I love that pen.
But ultimately, what we're trying to do is do everything without heat. So we're trying to preserve everything we can.
Make it as tasty as we can.
Yep. But that's a way to do it. If you have hash rosin or flower rosin, gently warm it up, get it warm to get it in the vial, then to get it into your tank. So I'm going to do a couple of videos of that too.
It's time for some terp sugar.
But yeah, Etienne, come by if you can, man. I've got I'll have a little basket for you and Steve.
Sweet.
Yep.
Jack Frost terp sugar. Such a shot of goodness in it. Like, you can't even really explain it, how nice that tastes.
Mm-hmm.
Super sweet. Full-blown terpene profile in the foreground. Like, what the fuck, dude? It's so trippy.
Yeah,
at first you're like, oh, it's sugary. It's like, but it's Jack Frost sugar. Then long after the sugar's gone, after you've picked the last piece out of your tooth, the xylitol, whatever, it's you can still taste those terps.
I think I gave you sugar. We do monk fruit now too.
Yes, I heard. Excellent.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the pop rocks.
Oh,
Terp rocks.
Terp rocks, huh? We could make some of that. All right, I'm going to try to dab this.
We could make some of that. Dab
Let's
it.
see here. Let's see how this melts.
You got no water in your bubbler or what?
I see you no longer have to use the inside blower anymore there, Tony. So you're in a different spot now. You're not going to get fucked with by the landlord.
You know your shit is loud when everyone in your apartment just is like,
Get out.
That guy's selling weed. He's got hundreds of pounds in there.
Yeah.
Thousands of pounds. The way it smells, he must
I
be
had
going.
multiple tours of disbelief.
Where they couldn't believe nothing was in there?
Yeah, they said they came in and they were like, no, it's not here. I was like, well, it could be when I open this freezer. Like, what's in this freezer? I was like, oh, vials of terpenes. And they're like, vials of terpenes. Like, yeah, you know, plant essence and things like that. It's like perfumes and essence. And they're like, well, open up the freezer. And I did. And it was like, woof. Like, oh, that must be what it is. I'm like, yeah, could be.
Could be.
That's why it's kept in a freezer.
Yeah. But no, I have that rabbit air. There was a guy on Hash Church that messaged me in like January. This rabbit air filter for the home has been great. And then I'm using I'm in a different location, but I'm using a Pure Air. It's a little, I'll show you this other device. This does like bipolar ionization. So it's positive and negative. It does like, I don't know, we've been using them in the lab facility. So Pure Air, they do like up to 3,000 square feet, and they kill all dust, microbes, pathogens, bacterias, molds. It's like really good air purification and odor. So I'll show you this little one.
I think that's what the terpenes in the forest do. I love living in a forest. Get this sort of antiseptic, just terps floating in the air all around us. Cedar terps and Douglas fir terps and maple terps.
Where?
Where, what, why? I think it might be time for a little puff on the rig, because I haven't had enough puffing today, apparently.
Yeah, this little thing.
I mean, pretty solid on the puff.
This company.
This company? What company?
Hold on. It's called Green Tech Pure Air.
Oh, yeah.
This little bad boy.
Small.
Super small. It's got a little filter on the back.
Is it an ionizer? What is it?
So it does positive and negative. Hold on, I got to get the thing. I'll tell you.
It's the ionizer. Little eye in there. Whoop.
Bong rip, mother lovers. Let's do this. Once again, I've been bong ripping the whole time. I'll deal with it.
We're holding it down here, aren't we, down?
Yep.
I mean, we use Quest, but this
Well, that was
also, this is for the air quality. This is supposed to you won't get sick, less people getting sick at work too. Let's see what it says here. Clean the filter. Let's see here. Of course, this doesn't have the selling pitch. It was all on the box. Okay, uses filtrations, bipolar ionization, ozone, removes some of the toughest odors and contaminations for noticeably clean and fresher space.
The ionizer creates the ozone. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me, an ionizer.
Yeah, it does positive and negative.
They're positively negative?
They're both, yeah, bipolar, it says. Could go either way. But, I mean, between the rabbit air and that, it's pretty damn on point. But
So
I'm not.
It's schizophrenic?
No,
No,
just bipolar. Bipolar.
I know, big silly.
It's different.
It's different.
Neurosis is
Don't
red.
worry. This will help cure the bipolar.
Well, I got to tell you, that was pretty melty. That was from the greenhouse, too, not even the indoor.
I love greenhouse. Terp
Yeah.
profiles, so nice.
Yeah. been a
Ozone
while.
is bad for you. Ozone is bad for you.
Yeah, I don't think it's super great. It depends on how much comes out of it, but
I see
O3.
a very small amount of it.
When lightning goes off in the sky, you can in the sky.
When lightning goes off in the sky,
In the sky, yes.
Oh, cool.
Well, the Rabbit Air does not use ozone. The Rabbit Air has like 7 filters that it pulls air through, and that thing has been unstoppable. So, I was, but that's also like a $600 or $700 filter for your house. This thing I think was like maybe $200. Someone gave it to me.
Couple hundo.
Yeah. Ozonization, huh? Would like to know how much ozone it puts out.
I would like to squish a pound and get a 30%. I'm gonna do. So
That's
I'm gonna
pretty
do that.
ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
I know.
What do you? So all right. So what does it actually taste like? What terpene is the what? What does it
Oh,
remind you of?
dude, like terpenoline. It's like a
Interesting.
haze. It's like
Interesting.
It's so nice. And like, because I almost have to. I wish I had my where's my bike right here. The resin was so beautiful looking. Like it came out golden, and when it got to get like combined, it kind of was orangey amber, and it was just. Everyone there liked it the most. Like it was just, we squished a bunch of things and everyone was like, oh, look at that one. You knew.
What's the genetics of it?
Let me check real quick because I don't want to make a mistake. And I wish I could just invite Karma in right now. Just see real quick here what the genetics. Where is my bike? So are they going to tell us what it is? No, yes. Okay. The mother is Karma's award-winning Amnesia cut, crossed to the Biker Kush male. The Biker Kush has changed the THC profile, giving it some very high test results. And the Amnesia is the D cut. Variety, mostly sativa. Yield, high. Plant height, 170 centimeters. Blah, 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 blah.
What's the flower time? What's the flower cycle?
The flower cycle is 9 to 11 weeks.
Okay, so it's a little longer,
Yeah.
but it's not too long. Not for 30%.
Too long.
Not for that kind of return.
30%. Listen,
Wow.
if there's, listen, in a perfect world, when you sold eggs or rosin, Sasquatch rosin presses, you could send these cuts. These are the cuts that we've been sending cuts to all our people, and people send us cuts back, and we do the tests, and these are the highest yields, the nicest profiles, this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
That 30% is unique because it's really nice. It's like a profile that you would expect to be on something that didn't yield much, that didn't produce much. It's like that. Plus, it has this crazy high THC, so it's also like, not only do you get this anxious terpene profile, but you get this wicked strong THC, like, brr. I liked it a lot.
Well, it'd be interesting to see that crossing with other things, but that sounds delicious. That sounds like a really nice, and I know the Amnesia Haze, it's a really high terpenoline. And that profile, that terpene might just come out really, might work really well in a heat, temperature, pressure type of thing with Sasquatch.
I said that it was Amnesia Haze, and someone was like, no, it's not Amnesia Haze, it's Amnesia.
Just Amnesia.
Yeah, it might be some other different cut, but I think I thought it was Amnesia Haze. It tasted like it for sure, but I don't want to, we're on Hash Church and I don't want to give away anything that's the wrong. So, maybe Karma can come on and talk about it, but whatever the D cut is,
Boring.
What's that?
I don't know. Sounded like somebody said fluorine.
It did sound like someone said, is that fluorine?
No, it was my wife. She has a big mouth.
What?
Wow, what'd she say?
She was talking about something, but she didn't realize she was sitting right next to a microphone.
That's awesome. We barely heard her. Okay, it is
That's
Amnesia
okay.
H. Oh wait, no,
And
Amnesia
and
OG.
if she has anything important, I'll get her to speak a little louder.
Huh. Okay, great. Yes, please let her know that if she has anything important to share with us, we can use all the help we can get sometimes. So most of the time. Amnesia is different. Okay, so Amnesia is like an Amnesia OG or something. We'll get Karma on here to talk about it. Either way, really, really nice profile when particularly mixed with the Clementine, which just produced more of, it was like putting terpenes of the same profile into this rosin. It was ridiculous. Ridiculous.
And what was the rosin made from? Was it from water hash, dry sip, buds?
Yeah, it was from a bud. Didn't you see the squish?
No. I mean, unless what you just had on a while ago was a squish. I didn't see it, but
Yeah, what I had on a while ago was the squish.
30% from bud. Jesus Christ! I mean, that's a religious experience.
It was. I was like, even my friend Neil, who told me, because it was his bud, he's like, I got a cultivar that should press out about 30%. I was like, 30%? He's like, I'm telling you, I did only a couple grams before, but I got like 30%. And now I have an 8-gram bud of it. I'm like, all right, well, we'll do it. So it was the first thing I pressed on my M1 Sasquatch press. It was the first thing. And lo and behold, like 29 point something percent. Like it was 8 grams in and 2.35 grams out. And we didn't even squish the pack a second time, and there was a little bit of oil in it. So it was ridiculous. Crushed it.
Like you said, the folks that are selling squisher, they should include the clone with each squisher.
For real, I'm telling you, in a perfect world, you would, and the same with bubble bags and dry sift screens and all that stuff, like cultivars that are tried and true.
That super perform under a particular methodology. Yeah, that knowledge should spread around.
Absolutely. It's 100% an imperative piece of the puzzle. But, you know, here in scarcity, people like to hold their shit close. I'm sure now that I've been promoting this Karma's bike, the cut will be harder to get. It's like, except for me, because when I get it, I'll fucking give it to everyone. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you give that cut to people like that could use it? That's like people that are like,
well,
oh,
if you had to grow 1 million plants to find that one plant, I can understand it, or particular years to find it. But
sure,
if somebody
was from
just gave it to you.
Oh, my buddy bought the seeds from Karma Genetics and cracked it. He was like, it's just a seed. Like you can get it too. No problem.
Why do you think it gives 30%?
I mean, I have no idea, but I suspect the planets lined up when mom and dad got together and shit was just like, you know, when the angels sing, like, oh, I have no idea. I cannot pretend. You would have a way better idea why such a thing would occur.
It would be nice to analyze it, the rosin, and see, is it super high in terpenes or THC or what is the profile?
Yeah, it absolutely will be getting tested in the very near future. Very near future. And I suspect it will be shared far and wide. Go check out Karma Genetics if you want yours.
By the way, I did want to say that after the last Hash Church, we pulled, I will share it with you. I didn't want to actually have it today because it would have ruined my Sunday, but I have a blue vial of azulene terpenes that we sent out for testing on like Thursday or Friday. So we tested out for terpene analysis as well as potency, but it smells like a fuely gasoline, like super absurd like gasoline smell. That's a terpene that came out of concentrate.
Crazy. You don't like it though. It's nasty.
Oh, it's horrible. No,
shit.
because you know, a lot of people like look down on, let's say, the process of distillation, which I find pretty funny, because distillation is just like a method. It's just a purification at the very end. It doesn't mean like you've taken something horrible and made it better, because it only makes it worse under the microscope. Meaning, if it starts out tainted, it's going to get worse and worse, especially if you on a distillate. So it's like you can't just pull everything out. You can't pull pesticides out. But if you use distillate correctly and you're doing whole plant extractions and it's just part of the last process, it just you know, people are just using like steam and vacuum to separate, and different temperatures to separate out different things that would be in the resin to get to a pure form. So in that process, terpenes are eliminated, fats are eliminated, different things to get to a 95 or 94% clean distillate without any pesticides. So in that process, there is a terpene that can come off of it called azulene, which is what we were talking about. It's a blue. It's like pretty blue. It's like the color of the sky blue. I'll show it to you next week. It's really raunchy. It's disgusting.
I just had an incredible Jack Frost terp burp. It was
Yeah, you would not want to
delicious.
have an azulene burp.
No, I wouldn't. Welcome, Subcool, to the room. Your mic is on mute. If you've been trying to talk, we haven't heard you yet. You came in when Tony was talking, and it was reverberating the mic, so I had to mute it. But feel free to unmute it and say hello if you are indeed here and can hear me. What cultivar would you give or recommend with bubble bags versus screens? Well, you know, screens, I'd probably go for some like some of Sam's skunk number 1, or that Slee Stack crossed with skunk number 1, or even Slee Stack alone. Was that also good, Sam, or was it the Slee Stack skunk that really reigned?
No, Slee Stack by itself is way better than Slee Stack skunk.
Okay.
I tried combining the two of them in the dream, but the dream was not fulfilled.
Okay, well, no worries, no worries. No worries. Sub's in the house driving his car again. Very nice, very nice. That's awesome.
I just took a 480 temp dab
Rocking the 480.
for that bubble.
Okay.
Just
Yeah,
straight.
Sub's been working on his squish game. I've been loving my M1 too, dude. It is fun. Fun little unit. Oh, he's trying to unmute, I think. We'll give him a second here. Still got 600 people in the room watching. A lot of people in the chat room. Look at that, Dan Richards. Just ordered my Amnesia OG, aka Where's My Bike Seeds, after listening to this chat. It's the way to do it. What's up? What's up? You got it.
Hey,
We
brother,
can
how
hear
you guys doing tonight?
Oh,
Good.
you know, it's been very chill day.
Good. I had to go, I'm actually on a hash run today. I had to go pick up some Pinot from one of my hash codes.
Oh, shit.
Take it back.
Nice.
Yeah, I mainly log on to listen to you guys. I learned so much from, so I usually log on and don't usually say a lot. Thanks for having me on. Learn lots.
Yeah, man, no problem. There's always something to talk about. It's been a real chill episode. You know, we're like 4 episodes away from our 3-year anniversary, and I got to make a plan for that show to be like a just absolute crusher of a show, because 3 years is a big milestone, you know, every Sunday gearing up and linking up and meeting and having these little events.
Hey,
Most people don't even have emails for 3 years anymore.
Right?
Hey, Sub, did you is one of your varieties that you've created called Cheesequake, or is that somebody else?
Oh, I think Cheesequake is Sub. Scared him off.
Hmm.
Scared him off.
As soon as I start
Johnny
talking
B
about
said by
cheesecake.
accident. Yeah, exactly. He's coming back. Johnny B just bounced out of the room. His foot unplugged his microphone and camera. So he is going to come back.
I thought he was in a rally car at first, and then I saw the baby seat.
I thought it was like a Razor, like one of those little mini side-by-side cars. He looked kind of like in this. It looked like he was in a little like. But yeah, sub has cheesecake, cheesequake.
Cheesequake. Mm-hmm.
Quake.
I just got a like a couple pounds of it, whole plant, to terp for the first time. To actually extract terpenes from it. So
Nice.
It's kind of interesting because I've only seen a few subs things, but each time I've seen it, like the jelly bean, but each time I've seen it, there's always like an expression of the terpene is just like really profound in the plant. I don't know if it's something he's always just bred for, looks for. Early on in the day, he just said, I'm going to breed for terpenes, but really strong expression. We'll see how it comes out in the extraction process.
Well, there's another one ordering seeds of the Where Is My Bike? Colin James Clifford. Let us know if you're getting those 30% yields. Tell you. even if you fuck up and get 24.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. If you fuck up and you're only getting 24%, it's still pretty good. Anything over 20, you're dancing, that's like, you're doing good.
Dude, in my opinion, you should be like Advesa should be producing Where Is My Bike clones to supply all of their growers and the relationships that it's like, hey, you should try this one. Just give it a shot.
Yep.
Anything that'll get more than 25% rosin.
Yeah.
Handed out by the rosin press companies.
Yep. That's your staple. You can make all kinds of really good medicine from that too.
Yep.
So, Tony, with that, what cleaning do you need to do to keep it and maintain it currently, or that you've found that are tips and tricks to the trade that you've found so far?
Keeping what clean?
The new stick.
Oh, the Trinity. So there's a video on there of how to clean it.
I'll put it up.
Put it up. This is the best trick. And
how often are you cleaning it? Or how often does
every time you go through your tank. So if you smoke a whole, like it's a 0.8 tank. You could put more than 0.5 in there if you wanted the first round, but it's a 0.8 tank. And I would say I've filled it up after I went. So I filled the first tank up. I went through it, and then I filled it up again and went through it. It's not that I didn't go through it. I would say if it was on a taste rating of 100% being clean all the way through, you're in the 100 when it first starts to, I'd say the sweet spot when this tank gets going is like 25% of the way through it. It starts to taste really, really good. Halfway through and towards the end, it's even better and better. Then if you try to reload this again, the taste is still okay. I feel like it probably loses maybe 5% in the process. And you could go through it a second time, but I feel like that's kind of like wearing and tearing it. So if you wanted to like keep this, say 10 times over, the best thing in my opinion is use it and then clean it and then fill it and then use it again. And you could get like, 10 times out of it, easy. But if you push it and you keep, and you just keep filling it without cleaning it, I think that's when you're going to blow this thing out. I've done it 3 times before, but I wouldn't recommend it. I would just clean it every time. It's easy to clean it if you actually just follow the instructions. I mean, it's like take the screw cap off, drop it in ISO 99%, wait 24 hours, drop it in filtered water, rinse it again in filtered water. You can leave it sit there for a few hours, even in just water, which tells you this thing's made differently if you're able to just soak it in water. But use filtered water or Fiji water, something that's really clean. and let it air dry and then refill it. It doesn't really take that much to clean them, but you definitely want to have two of them so you could have one cleaning while the other one is being used.
Yep.
I lose
I
him?
played the video. No, I played the video while you were talking. Actually, it was playing.
So in that video, there's a hot bath method.
I
that
showed
video,
it.
yeah. So that's the fastest way. So if you didn't want to, like, I feel like a deep clean is let it sit in ISO 24, but if you did the hot bath and went like 15, 20 minutes, it does a pretty damn good job, like cleaning it all. I didn't see any problems with it or difference, but I would say that maybe if you did the quick hot bath like the first 5 times, like maybe your 5th time do a deep clean. So I mean, that's the big thing about the tank, is that you get to reuse it.
Sell them in 6-packs. Someone says. I like the word quiver myself. It would be cool to get like a 6-tank quiver.
Oh, do like a cream.
Yeah.
A live rosin sauce, like 6 different ones.
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty dope. Get like a case.
Yeah, exactly. A quiver.
Like a quiver case.
A quiver will have you quivering.
Mm-hmm.
Tony?
Yep. Case.
Tony, do you have big hands, or is the pen just tiny?
I kind of have big hands, but the pen is not tiny.
I don't think so.
But those hands might have been Gary's hands if they're on Instagram.
No, on the video.
I guess I'm gonna have big hands. I mean, can you fit your whole pen behind yours?
The pen?
Yeah, can you put it all behind your hand?
Just like this?
Yeah, all right.
I got big hands too, man.
Oh my God. Yeah, I puffed really hard through this whole show.
Well, Mr. Hyde, if it seems like a waste when you clean it out with like ethanol instead of ISO. Then you can evaporate the ethanol and or whatever that the pure alcohol that people use, grain alcohol.
Yep, you could do that too.
You could use grain alcohol, and then you could
do it too. But it does a really good job getting all the oil all the way down. That's for sure. There's a little bit. There is like if you get like a creamy stuff, I will admit there is a little bit up on the tank. But what I've done with that is I will warm it up on the edge of. I know Gary will probably be mad at me, but I just like leave it just the edge of the
till it drips down.
Yeah, exactly. So, just like on the D nail, just warm it up a little bit and it just turns into an oil and it drips down. But that's just if it's cream. Like we were talking about the different resin, and not everything's going to turn creamy, But the creamy stuff does that. So
it's true. For those of you wondering what we're talking about, excuse me. That pen really rips. Some of the oils, when you put the rosin in with the terpenes, it just. Well, I have a perfect example, actually. Main sort of types that you'll get, which is a really nice kind of cream on the right there on the lemon tree. It's actually on the left, but it's flipped. And then on the other side, the clementine, which is much more of a saucy, oily, pull and snap. Not really, because it pours, but those two different rosins were very different to work with, and terp sauces, I guess I should call them, or terp oils. It's the thing is this pen really, Tony, is just in time for terpenes going down in price, because trying to fill these up in the Canadian market at $10 a drop or whatever is damn near impossible. Got to be able to be able to make the terpenes and be able to get them at a price where you can put them in these pens and it's not like $400 per cartridge or something. So there's a lot of terps in these pens. So and they are not fruit terpenes or someone else's weird little recipe that they've come up with. It's like beautiful cannabis profiles, cannabis terpene profiles. Well, shit, Jerry Lee Lewis is dead, huh? Well, sorry to hear. Whatever. Another famous person dies. Imagine all the like not famous people. It's like, guess what? 29,000 people just died all over the world in different parts of the world. Maybe more. What do you think every minute? How many people die every minute in the world? It's got to be a pretty high number. With 7 billion of us kicking. Got this. Oh, Jerry Lewis. All right.
Yeah, he was old. He's in his 90s, wasn't he?
Must have been. Jesus. I was going to say Jerry Lewis was even alive.
Well, you should give a little more respect to Jerry Lewis. He's a special man.
Give respect.
He's not just a man that just another guy that died.
He was worshipped in France.
Yeah.
Worshipped.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, he raised a lot of money. I remember almost every year around hurricane time, which is Labor Day weekend, he did his telethon and raised, how many millions of dollars in awareness to, diseases and, helped many. So, yeah, I got to give him props for that.
He's started as a crazy actor.
He has mad sons.
Actor, humanitarian. You don't see it every day.
Wow.
So I've slowly melt that all the way down off the edges.
105 people die a minute.
105 people die a minute on Earth?
Yeah.
How many people are born, though, a minute?
I don't know.
That's the real question, right?
Yeah, exactly. But then again, every once in a while. What's that, Sam?
106 are born every minute.
And how many are dead every minute?
105.
So it's 1 in, 1 out? Jeez. How many people really die every minute?
No, I have no idea. I'm just screwing around.
What'd you say that term was, Bubble Man? What'd you say it was? How many people die per minute?
Now I'm in an argument because people are like, oh, I can't believe you put him down. I'm like, I didn't mean to put him down as well. Just mention that millions of other people are dying as well. And although they may not have raised money for children and diseases, it doesn't make them any less sort of, I don't know. We put a lot of weird shit into fame. And when people are famous, regardless of what they do, he didn't even have to raise money for kids. He could have written a fucking song and we would have all been like, oh, R.I.P. So-and-so. No, I know. But do you know what I mean, though? Yeah. I know. I'm just saying it's like we tend to put certain people on pedestals above other people. And all I'm saying is, hey, RIP for everyone. Not shitting on Jerry Lewis, but just saying, hey, how about all died?
Jerry Lewis. And one of the things that he did that I liked was he only wore a pair of socks once. And then he gave them away.
Yeah.
You know who else does that? Floyd Money Mayweather. Wears a new pair of socks once every time. Why do I know that? Because my head is full of useless shit. What am I going to do? Life is fragile. Yes, Clint, for sure. But Icon Waste also is accurate. Fuck celebrity worship. Fuck it. Just worship good people. Good people are worth, and maybe he was a great person. I'm sure he was. I didn't know him at all in any way, shape, or form. For all I know, he ran some shape-shifting reptilian baby mill, and I'm just joking.
Well, he was an interesting guy. I wouldn't put it past. He could have done that too, and he still would have been all right.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm just joking. I'll say anything, man. I have nothing. He's Jerry Lewis. R.I.P.
Classic.
R.I.P. I can picture some of his skits in my mind.
Well, he was part of the Dean Martin and.
No, for sure. The Rat Pack.
The Rat Pack, man.
Reminds me, he was one of those guys that reminded me of Casey Kasem, like a guy that just kept getting older but didn't seem to look older and just lived forever.
Yeah. No, it's sad when people die.
And
But that's
when
why I wanted
think
to.
of it,
Well, that's why I wanted to say how many people are.
I think of like the Nutty Professor.
Yeah.
I can't imagine Dana Larson lobbying the BC government to use microbutanol. We'd have to have Dana on to talk about that, but we'll maybe next week.
Well, I'm gonna get some food, and for those that did get the tanks, just know that you're gonna need some glass syringe or some little small applicator. I use a glass syringe with a 14 gauge or 12 gauge, the biggest one they have, to pull it up, and then I use the smaller, like 10 gauge tip. I just switch the tip to a smaller one to fill it up.
I've got Gary finding ones for us right now so that they can be included in the kits in the future.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow, he raised $2 billion against muscular dystrophy. So here's the thing:
That's pretty good, special person.
Have there been any breakthroughs in muscular dystrophy with that $2 billion? There must have been, because I always am leery of sort of pharmaceutical raising, like the money to raise for disease, like the cancer raising.
I think he just gave. I think it was more like giving them a home or like a hospital bed,
right,
or like care, not so much like
which is
right, and to St. Jude's Hospital and things like that.
He's a pretty serious dude. That's why I think the audience,
$2 billion, dude.
The audience was right to jump on you a little bit.
Yeah, he gave to the kids. He gave to the kids. Well, like I said, R.I.P.
There we go.
No, kind of like the cancer research money. That's what I'm saying, Star Delta. I'm always worried about that's a lot of. You'd have to have an incredible team of people in charge of raising money and distributing it accurately. That would be something that just seems like human nature would be. You'd really, 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 really have to watch that.
Well, think about this. Think about how much of a good person you must have been to be able to do that, because how many companies out there actually can grossly pull in $2 billion, let alone make $2 billion. He's trying to give it away. He's trying to collect it, stack it, stamp it, certify it, and give it away.
Well, you got to realize St. Jude's Hospital doesn't charge families. If you're accepted there, it's covered.
Exactly, and I donate to them too.
Yeah, and I have as well, because they're at the forefront. They're literally at the spear tip of helping and definitely pushing things on a level that Ochsner and all kinds of other forefront hospitals are doing, and it's really needed, because these are to see kids suffering is horrible. It's bad enough seeing adults suffering, but seeing kids suffering is it hits everybody in the soul.
It's definitely fucked up. In fact, we got to send a shout out to Forrest. We invited him today, and he hasn't been able to come because Silas had a bad night last night and he's not doing too well. So we'll put our thoughts and prayers with those guys and all suffering children everywhere. My goodness, we're definitely it's a terrible thing for kids to be born with some of these diseases and some of these obstacles that you just can't really fathom or imagine, yet some of them come out of live throughout these experiences with such strength that it's very inspirational.
And the hidden costs to the caregivers and those that have to take care of those, such as Forrest, that sacrifice. I mean, I watched him multiple posts, over time of different things. They planned to attend, but now that changes because everything becomes the most important is the child then in that situation, and they sacrifice so much for their kids. So much love and respect there.
Well, he was saying last time, Forrest was saying that the divorce rate is 87% for, parents of these catastrophically ill children.
And that's just what's notated. So it's probably even higher than that. If you know how if they're not reaching everybody in those statistics.
No, for sure not. Hey, Wade came in, but he never. I can't say. Oh, there he is. Now he showed up. How you doing, Wade?
Doing pretty good. Do you guys hear me?
We can hear you just wonderfully.
Great. Yeah,
Saw you there.
you were talking about Forrest and Silas. He's really had a rough week. Couple hours a night of when Silas isn't seizing. And Silas was supposed to start school this week, and I don't believe he's made it to class yet.
Oh, it's too bad.
Mm-hmm. Sorry for my late joining this morning. Just had a busy day.
Oh, no problem. Glad you made it in. We're not going to be going too much longer. It's been a pretty chill day, but definitely want to build a good audience and a good group for the 150, whatever it'll be. I guess it's 52, 52, and 52. So 156 episodes it'll be. In 4 episodes, I want to have a nice gathering in here where we can have like 20 or 30 or 40 panelists come through over the course of the 4 hours and just really organize a cool little conversation. Maybe even have some people like Nia Hawkins on, who was on an earlier episodes. Get Samantha Envy or Elvie.
Why don't you do a 50-50
different
panel,
people.
women and men, like do a rotational, like how you had the ladies came
20
on.
women. Yeah,
They
I'd love to
crushed
invite
it.
20 men and 20 women.
But they would help
Amazing.
organize it too, because the way that went was like, that's the only way you're going to get like, the way they were, they just came a little bit more organized than us.
It's true. They were very organized because I can't organize the dudes. It's like impossible. But Natasha's like, I sent out emails. I sent out messages. I'm like,
it was like a
contacting all
CNN
of them.
panel where it was
No,
like,
for
we're
real.
live here, blah, 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 blah. And it was like everyone had the exact same shot of the exact shoulder.
I
Like, it was
know.
all keyed in. The exact lighting was good for everyone. They had all perfect sound. And it was like, and it was in and out, in and out, in and out. You're like, just boom, 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 boom. Panel, live feed, like just absolutely insanity. So like not just a little bit different than us, like, I mean, noticeably more
I know.
organized.
I know.
Like, noticeably.
I gave them huge props. They were very impressive. I learned a lot, yet I don't know how to execute any of what I learned. So
I feel like we've been making like mashed potatoes and ribs, and they came in and like we were like serving mashed potatoes and ribs. We're having our barbecue every weekend, and they came in and like just boom, moose pies and like different types of meats and like jerk chickens and like you're just like, wow, this isn't crazy.
Right. They came out with a 5-star catering while we were busting out the hot dog stand.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, hey, I made some mashed potatoes. You're like, yeah, that time we made 3 different types of potatoes.
To quote Tony V, we were playing checkers
And they were playing
chess.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah. So if we can incorporate that for the 200 episode, at least 50% there, boom, just always kind of, that would be an interesting panel, male, female, male, female.
Oh, was that a Jerry Lewis thing?
Doing that. Hello. Yeah.
Hello. My homage. Now that I've got half the chat mad at me because Tony fucking jumped on me for.
I didn't jump on you. I'm just
bugging you. They're not mad at me.
There's
Oh, how about 2-star dog? 2-star dog says porn star chicks would be cool. Mashed potatoes. No, they wouldn't. Trust me. They would not be cool at all. What was cool was the panel that we had. That shit was rocking. I was impressed. A genius.
Here we go. I got a little clip for your Jerry Lewis.
Are you going to put it on YouTube and get my shit blocked?
No.
It's not it's not a monetized video with commercials on the front of it.
Of course, it's like a CNN video.
Oh, then don't show it.
No, I'm not going to show it. I'm just going to share the link for you to share the link.
Oh, perfect.
It's a little homage, a little thing for.
I'll put it in the chat right now.
Oh, now you have a little thing. There you go.
All right, so here we go. Copy and slap it right in there so everyone can.
He deserves some respect,
He deserves respect. You ever hear that Peter Tosh song, Honorary Citizen?
Mm-hmm.
Google that one if you haven't. So good.
It was a good song.
And it's not sung by Peter Tosh, but it is a song about Peter Tosh. Well, I don't know. You know what? I think it's a chill one. I think I'm gonna call it. I think I got lots of stuff to do today. Still, it's a busy Sunday, and there's a blue sky out there. So I would like to thank everyone for coming out and hanging out for a little bit. Some longer than others. Wade made it in at the end, but we'll see him again maybe next week. We'll have him in, and hopefully Forrest can come in and tell us a little bit of what's going on. Maybe Dr. Natasha will be back and Dr. Mark. And in the meantime, thanks everyone for watching Hash Church this week. We'll see you next week for episode 153.
I'll
Peace
be
out.
there. Thank you.